This star-crossed girl, finally winning a $5 million lottery, was tragically crushed to death by a falling jumper. Causing a ruckus in the underworld, she claimed this was utterly unfair. The king of hell, wanting to avoid escalating the situation and burdened by the prospect of more paperwork, hastily scribbled a reincarnation decree, sending her back to the mortal realm as Princess Juju of the Western Shu Kingdom. Just when she thought life was about to take a turn for the better, she was reborn only to discover her mother was banished to the cold palace. And because her mother dressed her as a boy, her father, who desperately yearned for a daughter, remained completely oblivious to her existence. Fortunately, Juju possessed a unique ability to transmit her thoughts, which began to bridge the misunderstandings between her parents. Would this girl's life finally blossom, or would it continue to be a chaotic mess? Could she use her mind-reading powers to escape her predicament? In the Hall of Hell, mournful cries echoed endlessly. "I died so tragically. There's no justice in this. I can't accept it." The King of Hell, his face pale and head throbbing, was at a loss. He could only attempt to reason with the kneeling girl who clung to his robes. "Hey, let go first. Let's talk this through." The girl stubbornly knelt, ignoring the two figures beside her, also kneeling and begging for her forgiveness. She continued to recount her suffering, hoping to elicit the king's pity. "I've been an orphan since I was little, constantly plagued by misfortune. I finally won $5 million in the lottery." She sobbed even harder, only to be crushed by a jumper. "It's so unfair." The King of Hell's wife smacked him on the head. "If you let her cry like this, the entire underworld will be in chaos." This jolted the king awake. He hastily offered a solution. "Don't cry, don't cry. I'll let you be reborn as a princess, enjoying a life of luxury and honor." The girl froze. "A princess?" she asked, hope flickering in her eyes. "Will I have parents and siblings? Will everyone love me?" The King of Hell, eager to appease her, said, "You can have anything you want." His wife seized the opportunity and quickly drafted the reincarnation decree. The decree, written and placed on the table, the King of Hell declared, "Lost soul Juju, Princess Juju, based on your accumulated merits, or lack thereof, you will be reborn as a princess of the Western Shu Kingdom. Go!" The cries of a newborn echoed through the cold palace of the Western Shu Kingdom. A palace maid reported to the mother, "Your Majesty, it's a beautiful princess. The emperor has 17 sons and has always longed for a daughter." The mother, however, felt no joy. She said sorrowfully, "Even though the emperor longs for a daughter, I am imprisoned in the cold palace, unable to protect her." "Say it's a prince." Tears streamed down her beautiful face. "My son is imprisoned. My parents were falsely accused of treason. It's better for her to live as a man, away from jealousy." Juju, still in a daze, suddenly awoke. Her eyes widened, and she raged inwardly at the King of Hell. "Wait, the cold palace. Treason. 17 princes. King of Hell, didn't you say there would be love and luxury? You lied." The palace maid, watching the princess fall asleep, said to the mother, "Your Majesty, look how well-behaved the princess is." She cried herself to sleep. Little did she know, Juju was so despairing she wanted to die again. 5 years passed in a blink. Princess Juju, raised as a prince, spent her days in gloomy contemplation. "I've lived here for 5 years and haven't even seen the emperor's face. Not enough food, not enough clothes. It seems this is what the rest of my life will be like, huh?" Suddenly, a voice startled her. "Hey, you short, mountain-climbing runt. Didn't you see this Princess Anyong? Why aren't you kneeling? Aren't you afraid I'll have your head?" It turned out to be the cherished daughter of Consort Yong, the eldest Princess Anyong. Juju, bewildered, pointed at herself. "Huh, are you calling me a runt?" Without waiting for a reply, she began rummaging through her memories. "Princess Anyong, that name sounds so familiar." Her eyes suddenly widened. "I remember. That damn novel, Destiny's Empress, Fong Kai-wei. Princess Anyong is the female lead. My father, having no daughters, adopted the prince's daughter and raised her in the palace. He spoiled her, even betrothing her to the crown prince, who fell in love with her at first sight. 10 years from now, the Western dynasty will fall, and Fong Kai-wei will become the empress of the Southern Kingdom, assisting their emperor in unifying the land. She's the real protagonist. As for me, not only is my identity a mess, but today I'm about to be beaten to death by my own father. I'm completely just a side character." Juju, realizing her role offered no plot armor, scrambled down the hill in a panic. Princess Anyong, fuming, called after her, "Hey, shorty, I'm talking to you," she demanded, arms crossed, her face a mask of arrogance. "What's your name? Which palace are you from? How dare you not bow to this princess? Dressed in such rags. You must be some palace maid's bastard child." Seeing Juju only stare back, speechless, she raised a hand to strike. "Ignoring me, I'll kill you." Juju instinctively raised her hands to protect her face. Before the blow could land, she pushed the princess's hand away. "What are you doing? Get lost." Princess Anyong, shocked by this unexpected resistance, sputtered in outrage. Suddenly, her eyes lit up, a cunning smile spreading across her face. Then she burst into exaggerated sobs. "Imperial uncle, that little wretch stole my things and tried to scratch my face. You must get justice for Wei Wei." Juju, bewildered by the sudden shift in demeanor, thought, "Is she crazy? What imperial uncle?" Curiosity overcoming her, she glanced back and gasped. Standing behind her was a tall, handsome man. This handsome man, just addressed as Imperial Uncle by Princess Anyong, watched him passively. Princess Anyong immediately ordered her attendant, "Fuan, seize that brat. How dare he bully my Wei Wei? I'll have him killed." The emperor immediately rushed over to comfort Princess Anyong. There, my Wei Wei, don't cry." He even embraced the little girl, tears streaking her face like a small cat. Afterward, he didn't forget to glare at Juju. Juju never imagined meeting her father like this. She thought, "Heavens, this tyrant is about to kill me," without a second thought. He's my own father. Doesn't a tiger shrink from eating its own cubs? The emperor, hearing Juju's inner voice, froze. He asked himself, what was that sound? Who's speaking? Clearly, no one was speaking aloud. He looked again at Juju, suspecting the boy was the source. But he doubted himself. But his mouth isn't moving. Could it be his thoughts? He immediately questioned his attendant. "Whose child is this? What's his status?" Fuan respectfully replied, "Your Majesty, this boy is the son of concubine Li of the Cold Palace, the 18th prince." The cold-blooded emperor thought, not a daughter. Nothing of value. Then, he immediately waved a hand, dismissing Juju to the guards. Someone dragged this brat away and beat him to death. Juju thought indignantly, "Tyrant, what's so good about her? She's just a little liar. I didn't steal anything from her." Preposterous. With so many people around her, how could I possibly steal anything? On the contrary, it's her, seeing how handsome I am, who wanted to scratch my face. She makes up a story, cries a few times, and he immediately believes her. Ridiculous. He glared at the emperor, silently judging. What a clueless tyrant. No wonder this Western dynasty will fall in 10 years. The emperor, hearing the words "fall in 10 years," jolted. What? The Western dynasty will fall. Can only I hear this boy's thoughts? No one else can hear them. He hastily stopped the guards. "Wait, I have questions for him." Juju felt bewildered, unsure of the emperor's intentions. "What's going on? Am I not going to be executed?" The emperor approached Princess Anyong and asked gently, "Wei Wei, tell me, what did he steal from you?" Hearing this question, Juju was surprised and confused. Princess Anyong thought, "In the past, when I said these kinds of things, the emperor would just have people killed. Why is he asking so many questions this time?" Worried about the emperor's questioning, she quickly reached behind her back and tossed her gold bracelet into the bushes. Then, pretending to cry, she pointed at the bracelet on the ground and explained, "Uncle Emperor, he stole my gold bracelet. Look, I asked him about it, and he threw it over there. See?" Juju could only scoff at her foolish charade. She just had to throw it behind her back. He even dared to insinuate to the emperor, "Anyone with eyes can see what happened, unless they're blind." Seeing Juju's insinuation, the emperor thought angrily, "You little brat, what are you looking at? Let me tell you, I have eyes too." At first, the emperor had been gentle, putting on a disappointed and sorrowful expression as he said to Princess Anyong, "Wei Wei, I dote on you so much, and I give you everything you want." In the blink of an eye, his expression shifted to anger at her lie. "But you keep lying. Do I have to call all the guards to interrogate you before you'll tell the truth?" Frightened by the emperor, she quickly knelt down and pleaded, "Uncle Emperor, Wei Wei was wrong. Wei Wei won't dare to do it again." This time, the emperor was not lenient. He immediately ordered, "Someone take the princess to the Empress Dowager. Once she's been properly disciplined and stops lying, then send her back to noble consort Anyong." After he finished speaking, he heard Juju's inner voice. Has the tyrant suddenly grown a conscience? The emperor grew even angrier, glaring at Juju. Juju could only lament inwardly, so scary. Seeing that pleading with the emperor was useless, Princess Anyong changed her target. "Aunt, save me." The scheming noble consort naturally couldn't let Wei Wei be taken away just like that, because once she was gone, the emperor wouldn't come to her palace anymore. So she had to act coquettish and pitiful. "Your Majesty, how could you bear to let Wei Wei suffer? Please forgive Wei Wei this once. You dote on her the most." But unexpectedly, this time the emperor was truly resolute. He pointed directly at her face and scolded, "Silence. Wei Wei lies because you haven't disciplined her strictly. From today onwards, you're also confined to your quarters for self-reflection." Zhu took advantage of the chaos while the three of them were distracted and tried to slip away, but the emperor noticed. He thought, "I didn't expect this little brat's inner thoughts to be true." But the emperor was still puzzled. Why can I hear his thoughts? Is he some kind of demon? Seeing the emperor staring at him so intently, Zhu broke out in a cold sweat. "Hey, isn't the matter already resolved? Why is this tyrant looking at me with such a strange expression? He's not going to kill me, is he? I'm really afraid of pain." But the emperor walked closer and closer, thinking to himself, "This child is quite good-looking, even better looking than my 17 older brothers. If she were a girl, she would be absolutely adorable. What a pity." The emperor waved his hand and ordered his personal attendant, Fuan, take the 18th prince back. Zhu thought that the emperor was acting particularly strange today. "My father has actually come to his senses today. If he were always this reasonable, he wouldn't have listened to those treacherous officials and locked my mother in the cold palace. But my father isn't a good person either. Later, when he crosses the bridge, it will collapse and he'll break his leg. Anyway, my father never cares about my mother and me, so let him suffer." Hearing Zhu's inner thoughts, the emperor was furious, but he couldn't directly expose her. "This little brat is cursing me in his heart again, thinking I don't know." Fuan only escorted him a short distance before saying, "Your Highness, I can only escort you this far. It's time for you to return." Fuan tugged at Zhu's sleeve, offering a gentle reminder. Standing at the edge of the bridge in the imperial garden, the emperor thought to himself, "Eunuch, remind my remind my imperial father to have a cup of tea before crossing this bridge when he comes here." The weight of the boy's words pressed upon him. That boy said the Western Chu kingdom will fall within 10 years. This is a serious matter, but how can I verify it? As for the part about me breaking my leg, perhaps I should test that. He prepared to step onto the bridge. Just as he was about to take that step, Fuan hurriedly called out from behind, "Your Majesty, please wait. You should have a cup of tea before proceeding." A flicker of amusement touched the emperor. That little rascal must have reminded Fuan. He had a conscience after all. Feigning a cough, he said, "Ahem, yes, bring some tea. I'll have a cup before I go." 5 minutes later, the emperor sat sipping his tea, lost in thought. "Now that I've finished the tea, it seems what that boy said, that might not be true after all." A voice suddenly broke the silence from behind him. "Your Majesty, Grand Tutor, and the other ministers are waiting in the imperial study. They say it's an urgent matter." It was Eunuch Lu, the head eunuch of the imperial study. Upon hearing the report, the emperor immediately rose and gestured. "Let's go to the imperial study." He had barely taken a step when a tremendous crash echoed from behind him. Fuan whirled around and, seeing the collapsed bridge, hastily reported, "Your Majesty, the bridge has collapsed. It's fortunate you didn't cross. The consequences would have been dire." He didn't forget to credit Zhu. Thanks to the 18th prince's warning, the emperor now fully believed Zhu. The bridge had actually collapsed. It seemed the boy truly could foresee the future. His previous anger dissipated, replaced by a rare smile on his usually stern face. This wasn't a bad omen. It was a blessing in disguise. The emperor clenched his fists, still shaken. If he had crossed the bridge, he would have at least broken a leg, if not worse. Without him to lead, the court would surely fall into chaos. He addressed Eunuch Lu, who stood beside him. "Eunuch Lu, dismiss everyone who is waiting. Only the Grand Tutor should remain. I'll be there shortly." Eunuch Lu asked with concern, "Where are you going, Your Majesty?" He replied coldly, "The cold palace." Zhu, filled with excitement, thought, "Mother, I'm coming back." Consortly rushed forward and embraced Zhu tightly, her voice laced with worry despite her scolding tone. Zhu, you frightened me to death. Just like your brother. He went out one day and caused such trouble that he was imprisoned. I'll never see him again. You're all I have left." Zhu gently wiped the tears from her mother's beautiful face, offering comfort. "Don't cry, mother. When I grow up, I'll make sure you have a good life." Zhu thought to herself, as for my wrongly accused brother, it's not the right time to save him yet. I need to wait for certain someone to return to the palace. Consort Li, seeing her child's understanding nature, felt a surge of joy but didn't want to burden her. My dear Zhu, your safety is all that matters. I don't need riches or glory. Zhu, pleased, flattered her mother. Mother, you're so beautiful and kind. Father is truly blind to have overlooked you. Consort Li stroked Zhu's head tenderly. You little flatterer. She thought to herself, so young, yet carrying such a heavy burden. Ever since you were born, I've been able to hear your thoughts. The poor child. Mother and son were enjoying a peaceful chat when a palace maid rushed in, shattering the calm. Your Highness, it's terrible. The Emperor is coming. Consort Li's heart pounded with fear. Why would the Emperor suddenly come to the cold palace? Everything had been quiet. She couldn't imagine what dreadful thing might happen. Zhu, Consort Li urged, hide quickly. Let me handle this. No matter what happens, don't come out. He tried to reassure her. Mother, don't worry. Father will take us away from here. Unaware of the events outside the cold palace, Consort Li mistook his words for wishful thinking. Zhu, she sighed, I'm afraid we're trapped here for life. Just as she finished speaking, the Emperor entered. Fuin, his attendant, immediately announced his arrival in a loud voice. His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor. The Emperor surveyed the room, a pang of guilt twisting in his gut. The cold palace was truly wretched. No one deserved to live in such conditions. Despite years of confinement, Consort Li hadn't forgotten her courtly manners. Upon seeing the Emperor, she bowed deeply. Your Majesty, she murmured, long live the Emperor, 10,000 years, 10,000 years, 10,000 years. Her voice drew the Emperor's attention. He looked her over, taking in her appearance. Even in simple clothes, her beauty was striking, enough to shame the flowers and make the flowing water envious. The passage of time had only enhanced her grace. He gently extended a hand to help her up. There's no need for such formalities, he said. Please be seated. Even seated, holding her son, Consort Li radiated an air of nobility. The Emperor racked his brain, unsure how to begin. Zhu saved my life, he thought. He deserves a reward. But I can't let everyone know he can see the future. What if he feels wronged and refuses to help me anymore? Seeing the Emperor's silence, Consort Li asked anxiously, Your Majesty, is the tea not to your liking? An idea suddenly struck him. Ah, yes, Consort Li, he began, I've been reconsidering the accusations of treason against you. I intend to reopen the investigation. You've raised the 18th prince well. You may leave the cold palace. Consort Li could only gasp, stunned into silence for a moment before she recovered and knelt, kowtowing. Your Majesty, she breathed, thank you for your immense grace. Zhu rejoiced inwardly. Wow, his conscience finally kicked in. Keep this up, father, and I might actually start to like you. The Emperor, hearing Zhu's thoughts, scoffed internally. Impudent child, do I need your approval? The entire empire adores me. Why would I need yours? A second later, Zhu's thoughts shifted. It seems he really doesn't need my affection. What was I thinking? The Emperor, hearing this, could only manage a strained smile, feeling utterly exasperated. Just then, Fuin announced, Your Majesty, they're requesting your presence in the Imperial study again. It's urgent. The Emperor rose, giving Fuin instructions. Grant Consort Li and the 18th Prince the Sui residence. Personally, oversee their move. Then go to the treasury and select some fine items for them. Remember, only the best. Consort Li remained kneeling. Your Majesty, she repeated, thank you for your immense grace. As they prepared to leave, Zhu suddenly thought, Father must be discussing the war on the Western Front. That's a serious matter. Oh, I remember now. The Western forces not only lost the battle, but they also lost 30,000 soldiers. Hearing this, the Emperor's steps grew heavy as lead, his feet rooted to the spot. Zhu continued to recall a devastating loss. They'll have to cede territory and pay reparations. The Emperor, stunned, echoed his son's thoughts. Lost the battle. 30,000 soldiers. Such a heavy loss. Could this be a sign of our decline? Seeing that he hadn't moved, Fuin urged him, Your Majesty, they're waiting for you. Why aren't you going? Suddenly, he turned and uttered a strange sentence. I'm thirsty. Let me have a cup of tea before I go. While Zhu was still puzzled as to why the Emperor kept staring at him, the Emperor's inner thought screamed, Child, continue what you were saying just now. Unexpectedly, the child rubbed his eyes and said to Consort Li, "Mother Consort, Juju is sleepy. I want to sleep." Consort Li quickly urged, "Then go to sleep. You're tired today and should rest." Only the emperor was anxious, thinking, "My son just mentioned the potential downfall of the kingdom. How can he sleep?" His heart, as a father, was burning with anxiety, yet his son slept so soundly. What was going on? Finally, the emperor could only watch him fall asleep. The little fellow even began to snore softly. Who? He hurriedly shook Juju awake. "You little rascal, wake up." But the little fellow still slept soundly, even talking in his sleep. Consort Li, worried for her son, tried to persuade the emperor, "Your Majesty, even if you don't like Juju, you can't treat him like this." Although the emperor was angry, he suppressed his rage and pretended to speak gently. "It's not that I don't like him. I just want to sleep with Juju." Having found a plausible excuse, he spoke more naturally and fluently. "Yes, I haven't slept with him since he was born. Now I want to sleep with him. You may all leave." The emperor propped himself up in bed and whispered to his son, "Juju, our Western Chu is going to lose. What should we do?" Suddenly, a voice echoed in his mind. "Lose. It's probably because a spy from the Southern Kingdom stole important military intelligence and reported back. That's why Western Shu is losing." He stared at Juju in astonishment, leaned close to his ear, and whispered, "Could it be that a spy stole our military intelligence?" Juju mumbled sleepily, "Isn't it obvious? It's that consort way." She pretended to be pregnant and kept going to the tyrant's study. That's how the tyrant lost the military intelligence and lost the battle. Juju accidentally hit the emperor's face, then, as if to compensate, offered a solution. If that tyrant gives her false military intelligence to steal, Western Shu can turn defeat into victory and defeat the Southern Kingdom. The emperor covered his mouth in delight, almost crying out in praise of his son. Brilliant. This boy is truly brilliant. The emperor leaned down and gently kissed Juju's cheek, thinking to himself, "I almost acted impulsively and punished Consort Wei, but I never thought I could use her to defeat the Southern Kingdom." Having figured it out, he happily got out of bed, not forgetting to bid farewell to his good son before leaving. "All right, Juju, I'm leaving." After the emperor left, Juju wiped the kiss mark off his face and muttered, "Why was there an annoying fly buzzing around just now?" Eunuch Fu bowed respectfully and asked, "Consort Li, everything is packed. Can we leave for Suihua Temple now?" Consort Li carefully chose her words. "Eunuch Fu, thanks to Nanny Gui, Juju was born safely. All these years, only Nanny Gui has helped me. Today, I want to take her out of the cold palace." Consort Li hesitated, unable to continue. Nanny Gui was so moved by these words that she couldn't speak. "Your ladyship, how could Eunuch Fu refuse a consort who was about to gain favor? Of course, your ladyship's decision is final. This servant will inform the Department of Internal Affairs immediately." Juju's eyes narrowed with delight. "Great. We'll take Nanny Gui with us to Tsuehua Temple." He told himself that from this day forward, everything would be different. The other palace maids watched the departing trio, envy gnawing at them. "I'm so jealous of Nanny Gui," one whispered. "I should have gotten closer to Consort Li and Juju sooner. Who would have thought a woman sent to the cold palace could leave after just 7 days?" In the imperial study, the emperor pored over the memorials submitted by his ministers. Lost in thought, he mused, "I followed Juju's advice, fabricated military intelligence for Consort Wei to steal, and ordered the frontline soldiers to lay an ambush for the Southern Kingdom. It was a resounding victory." He set down the memorial. "Finally, I can breathe a little easier. After years of war with the Southern Kingdom, this was the first decisive victory." The emperor stretched and stood. He'd barely stepped out the door when 2 subordinates bowed deeply. "Your Majesty is wise and brilliant. The Southern Kingdom will send emissaries to negotiate peace. Your Majesty's cunning use of spies to relay false military information turned defeat into victory." He smiled. To the Chuewei Palace. Suddenly, the Grand Tutor entered, bowing respectfully, his face grave. "Your Majesty," he said, "I have a matter of utmost importance to report." He knelt, his head bowed low. "I'm nearing the end of my days." The emperor's face darkened. He waved a hand dismissively. "Grand Tutor, why speak such ominous words?" Ignoring the emperor's words, the Grand Tutor pressed on. "Before I die, I must tell your Majesty several things. Last night, observing the celestial signs, I foresaw that in 10 years, the Western Chu Kingdom will face ruin. But there is one who can avert this disaster, the 18th Prince. No matter what happens, I implore your Majesty to trust the 18th Prince and protect him at all costs. The gravity of the situation struck the emperor. "I will remember your words," he replied earnestly. But one question lingered. "Grand Tutor," he asked, "there's one thing I wish to know. I have no daughters. Is this also predetermined by fate?" The Grand Tutor could only shake his head. "The secrets of heaven cannot be revealed." As soon as he finished speaking, a sharp pain pierced his chest. He groaned and collapsed to the floor. "Grand Tutor," the emperor cried out. Soon, the palace announced to all, the Grand Tutor had passed away. Consort Li and her son, Zhu, were playing happily in the Shanghai palace when a eunuch's voice rang out. "His Majesty, the Emperor arrives." Consort Li and her son immediately looked towards the source of the voice. The emperor was lost in mournful contemplation. "I wonder," he thought, "if the Grand Tutor died of natural causes, or if he was punished by heaven for revealing the prophecy of Western Chu's demise." Consort Li and Zhu bowed respectfully. "Long live your Majesty." Zhu noticed his father's unhappy expression and was puzzled. "They just won the war," he thought. "Why isn't this tyrant happy?" He racked his brain, then it struck him. "Oh right, the Grand Tutor died." The emperor, hearing his thoughts, was startled. How could the boy know? Suddenly, the emperor gripped Zhu's shoulders tightly, his voice sharp. "The Grand Tutor died suddenly. I do not know if it was from natural causes or something else." Zhu looked at him with innocent eyes, confused by his intensity and the words he didn't understand. "Of course, it was natural causes," he replied. Hearing this, the emperor felt a weight lift from his shoulders. "Natural causes," he echoed. He was so relieved, he even kissed Zhu on the cheek. "Thank goodness," he thought. "I won't have to carry this guilt for the rest of my life." Zhu, startled by the sudden kiss, blushed crimson, his thoughts scattering. "I just got kissed by an old man." He cried silently in his heart. "Ah, I've been defiled." Seeing his son's exaggerated reaction, the emperor thought angrily, "I only kissed you once, and you're acting so aggrieved. Fine, then I'll make you even more aggrieved." The emperor immediately put his thoughts into action. He puckered his lips, brought his face close to Zhu's cheek, and kissed him furiously. Consort Li, seeing the father and son so close, was overjoyed. She joined in, and the two of them kissed Zhu's cheeks together. The scene at that moment resembled a happy family of three. Zhu blushed crimson, his eyes sparkling with delight. He thought to himself, "No wonder they say birds of a feather flock together. My mother and my tyrannical father both have such unique ways of thinking. They say they'll kiss, and they actually do it." Thinking of this, he was moved to tears. "In my past life, I had no parents. This moment makes me understand how blessed it is to have them." Both the emperor and consort Li were startled when they heard his inner thoughts. Zhu had no parents in his previous life. Knowing this, they resolved to shower him with all their love. Consort Li thought to herself, "My dear Zhu, in this life, your mother will give you all her love." The emperor also said to himself, "I will treat you well, my son." Nanny Gue, seeing the pile of jewelry the emperor had bestowed upon Consort Li, was happy for her mistress. "Your Highness, these are all gifts from His Majesty. No other consort has ever received such lavish gifts." Zhu held the girl's clothing in his hands and asked his mother, "Mother, can Zhu wear little girl's clothes now?" Consort Li shook her head and hurriedly explained, "Zhu, you can't wear them yet. The charge of treason against your mother hasn't been cleared, and your maternal grandparents are still exiled in the cold north, yet to be recalled. We are still in a precarious position." Nanny Gue continued to ask Consort Li, "Your Highness, Consort Chung is coming to visit. What meals should we prepare?" Zhu was surprised to hear this. "Consort Chung is coming here. She's one of Feng Kaiwei and noble consort Rong's people. What's she doing here?" Whenever a new consort gains favor in the harem, Consort Chung find a way to move in with her. Then, the consort who shares quarters with Consort Chung dies. If she moves here, Mother and I are very likely to be killed. Consort Li, upon reading Zhu's thoughts, was terrified and extremely worried. It is indeed true that you can know a person's face, but not their heart. Therefore, Consort Li immediately changed her attitude and instructed Nanny Gue, tell them to prepare some simple meals. There's no need for anything special. Nanny Gue was puzzled after hearing this. Didn't your Highness just say to have Consort Cheng's favorite meals prepared at all times for her arrival? Consort Li gently stroked her son's head and explained coldly, "These past years I've been demoted to the cold palace, and Consort Chung has been cold and indifferent to me. not even inquiring when I was near death. She is not sincere, so why should I bother? Nanny Gay breathed a sigh of relief. Your Highness always used to say that Consort Chung was a good sister, but this old servant thought, if they were truly sisters, why haven't they inquired about each other for so many years? It's good that your Highness finally sees things clearly. That day, in Consort Cheng's palace, Consort Chung was kneeling before Princess Anyong, swearing, "Please rest assured, Princess, and please relay this to noble Consort Rome. This consort will certainly be able to move in a Chujui residence this time." A sinister expression flashed across her face. "Then, I will kill Consort Li and her son." She even swore a venomous oath. "If they don't die, I'll cut off my own head and let your Highness kick it around like a ball." After hearing this, Princess Anyong said with relief, "Then let's see how Consort Chung performs. If you succeed, there will be a great reward." Having just finished plotting with Princess Anyong, Consort Chung arrived at Chujui residence, her face plastered with a saccharine smile. "Dearest sister," she chirped upon entering, "I've come to see you." Consort Li, however, showed no sign of delight, responding coolly, "Sister, you've come. Please come in and sit." This frosty reception gave Consort Chung pause. Something felt amiss. Shouldn't Li Fei, after all this time, have rushed to embrace her, eager to recount the trials and tribulations of the past years? Unable to gain any ground with Consort Li, she swiftly changed tack, turning her honeyed words on Juju. "The 18th prince has grown so much. Let Consort Chung give you a hug." But her usual cloying demeanor only frightened Juju, who thought, "Evil monster, don't touch me. Mother, save me." Consort Li quickly intercepted, grasping Consort Cheng's hand. "The child is shy around strangers," she warned. "You'd best not." Consort Li's words left Consort Chung flustered, forcing a strained, "Haha, very well." Noticing only a single plate of pastries on the table, Consort Chung cast her eyes around the room, offering a thinly veiled compliment. "Sister, your new residence is truly magnificent, unlike my humble abode, which is dilapidated and drafty." Forewarned by Juju, Consort Li was on high alert. "Then why haven't you asked the Department of Internal Affairs to make repairs?" Consort Chung, relentless in her performance of the pitiful victim, continued, "Telling me is useless. I wouldn't know the first thing about repairs. I have no children, sister, so the people in the Department of Internal Affairs don't respect me. They bully me. How could they possibly help me fix my rooms?" Consort Li's sharp eyes caught the fabric of Consort Cheng's robe. Tugging at it, she questioned, "But isn't this clothing made of Saska silk brocade? If the Department of Internal Affairs truly disrespects you, how could you be wearing such fine material?" Rendered speechless by this counterargument, Consort Chung stammered She quickly changed the subject, attempting to mask her true intentions. "Actually, sister, I have a selfish motive. I worried you would be lonely in Chujui residence, and I wanted to move in with you so we could look after each other." Consort Li, however, was not easily fooled. "You showed no such concern for me during all those years in the Cold Palace, sister. Now that my circumstances have improved, you suddenly care. I'm afraid you have ulterior motives." Consort Chung panicked, hastily denying the accusation. "What are you saying? We grew up together. My sincerity towards you is as clear as day. How can you say such things?" Feigning offense, Consort Chung made to leave. "Sister, you truly wound me. If you wish to sever our ties, just say so. Why resort to such hurtful insinuations?" She thought triumphantly, "Why is Li Fei suddenly so wary of me? But when I threaten to break off our relationship, she'll surely panic. When she begs me to stay, I'll graciously agree." Before Consort Chung could finish her internal gloating, Consort Li addressed the surrounding palace maids. "See your guest out." At this, Consort Chung finally erupted. "How dare you treat me this way? Are you serious? You'll regret this." Juju gazed at his mother with admiration. "Wow, mother's so amazing. She just got out of the Cold Palace, and already she's dealt with a threat." As Juju pondered this, Nanny Gui spoke up. "Your Highness, the 10th Prince and 11th Prince have also arrived. They're lingering outside, afraid to come in." Consort Li turned and instructed Nanny Gui, "Send them away." Juju stroked his chin thoughtfully. Why is mother so cold to 10th brother and 11th brother? They were so close to 13th brother. After what happened to 13th brother, they tried everything to save him. They refused to marry, refused to have children, and, in the end, they even sacrificed their own lives. Perhaps mother doesn't know them, so she doesn't like them, Juju mused. She said they would feel guilty to death. So for the first time, Juju voiced his request. Mother, can you let them in? They're very good to older brother. Seeing Juju like this, Consort Lee's heart softened. She immediately agreed. All right, Mother will invite them in. The 10th prince and 11th prince hadn't even fully entered when they bowed respectfully. Consort Lee, your younger brothers offer congratulations on your release from the Cold Palace. The 10th prince addressed Consort Lee. Regarding 13th brother's situation, we will find a way. Juju hid behind Consort Lee, observing surreptitiously. Seeing their awkward and clumsy manner, he almost burst out laughing. Consort Lee also relaxed her stern expression, smiling at them. Since you're here, come in and have some tea. Hearing this, the 10th prince and 11th prince exchanged surprised glances. Did you hear that right? We've never had tea with Consort Lee before. We're always getting scolded. Suddenly, Consort Lee took the two young men's hands, explaining gently, 3 years in the Cold Palace changes one's perspective. I know you have kind hearts. In the past, it was I who misjudged people. Hearing Consort Lee's words, the 10th prince replied, it's because we were always childish and ignorant, always making you angry. Consort Lee, we won't be like that anymore. Seeing Juju pretending to casually walk out, Consort Lee smoothly introduced, you've come at the right time. Come and meet your two older brothers. Juju walked in front of the 10th and 11th princes, letting out an exaggerated gasp, his eyes sparkling and his mouth wide open. He thought, these two older brothers are so handsome. Unexpectedly, the 10th and 11th princes also heard Juju's thoughts. They were equally surprised. Juju is praising us. Wait, he didn't speak, but we heard his thoughts. We absolutely cannot say anything. We are the older brothers. We must protect Juju. Then the two began vying to hold him, ignoring Juju's reluctant expression. I'm already holding him. Nonsense. I just picked him up. Haven't even warmed him up yet. Unexpectedly, at this moment, the emperor suddenly appeared, interrupting excitedly. What's going on? Why is it so lively? Tell me about it. He immediately snatched Juju from the 10th prince's arms, continuing, 10th, you've grown taller, but your complexion isn't very good. Is someone bullying you? I'll stand up for you. Head eunuch Fu thought to himself, the 10th prince is clearly unhappy because his majesty snatched Juju away, and his majesty is still asking this. The 10th prince lowered his head sadly. Your majesty, this younger brother is not unhappy, just a little unwell from an upset stomach. The emperor took the opportunity to politely dismiss his guests. Then go see the doctor quickly. 11th, go with him. The two princes were struck as if by lightning. The two walked out dejectedly. The 10th prince was sad because he had made up this excuse, wanting to spend more time with Juju. The 11th prince was sad because he wanted to have lunch here. He had never eaten with his father before. Before the two princes had even reached the door, Juju, as if reading their minds, immediately spoke up. Father, Juju likes the two older brothers. Older brothers have tummy aches because they're hungry. Juju wants older brothers to eat with us. Seeing his young son say this, the emperor happily agreed. All right, then we'll do as Juju says. We'll have lunch together. Seeing the emperor agree, the 10th and 11th princes turned back excitedly. The table was laden with a sumptuous feast. Juju, seeing the obvious worry on his two older brothers' faces, thought the two older brothers aren't touching their chopsticks and aren't looking at father. They must be afraid of him. I have to think of something. The two princes, seeing him constantly worrying about them, were deeply moved. 18th brother is so good, always thinking of us. Suddenly, his eyes widened as he observed his father's love-struck expression. Curiosity piqued. Why was his tyrant father looking at his mother like that? What kind of look was it? It looked like the leer of a scoundrel. The thought had barely formed when both princes burst into laughter, spraying rice across the table. His mother froze, while his tyrant father was rendered speechless with indignation. Juju quickly placed a piece of carrot in the emperor's bowl, saying considerately, Father, eat more. But his inner thoughts were quite the opposite. Eat more, so you'll stop looking at mother with those lecherous eyes. Although the emperor was fuming, with so many people present, he couldn't very well erupt. Eunuch Union entered and announced, Your Majesty, Princess Anyong is kneeling outside, begging for your forgiveness. Hearing this, the emperor, far from softening, hardened his expression. She dares to create a disturbance here, ignorant of propriety. Let her kneel if she wants to. Princess Anyong continued to kneel even as the rain began to pour. The servants of the Chujui residence watched with anxious hearts. How could the princess kneel like this? Her knees would be ruined. Didn't the emperor feel any distress for her? Her parents, hearts aching for their daughter, stood sheltering her from the rain, pleading with her. Wei Wei, the rain is so heavy, and you are so frail. How can you kneel in the rain? Our precious daughter shouldn't suffer such indignity. Get up, let's go home. Her father deliberately raised his voice so the emperor could hear. She is the only daughter of the imperial family. I don't believe His Majesty could be so heartless. Come, let's go now. But Princess Anyong was resolute, refusing to budge. If my imperial uncle doesn't forgive me, I won't get up. Anyone who could be so heartless must be very calculating, she thought. I must obtain my imperial uncle's forgiveness. Otherwise, I will lose all my favor and glory. The reports from the court officials overlapped like a chaotic chorus. Your Majesty, the Prince of Duan's residence is here to take the princess home. Your Majesty, the Prince of Duan's residence is here to take the princess, whom you worked so hard to keep in the palace, home. Your Majesty, the Prince of Duan's residence is here to take the princess home. Zhu, hearing these reports, rolled his eyes dismissively. This princess was clearly courting her own downfall, and her stingy father had even sent someone to fetch her. Zhu propped his chin on his hand, leisurely eating his snacks, thinking, the prince and princess of Duan are truly ignorant and arrogant, thinking they can threaten the emperor, threaten me with this. The emperor, seeing Zhu's thoughtful expression, smiled at him approvingly. This child truly is my good son, understanding my heart. Little did he know that Zhu, seeing this smile, had no idea what he was smiling about, only thinking, what a strange expression. The emperor decisively commanded, since they dare to threaten me with leaving, then I shall grant their wish. Having said this, the emperor placed his hands on his hips, his imperial majesty on full display. At least, it was in front of his son. Zhu continued to calmly nibble on his snacks, knowing full well that Princess Anyong wouldn't easily give up on her palace dreams. Eunuch Yunian went out to announce to the princess and her parents, by imperial decree, the prince and princess of Duan and Princess Anyong are to leave the palace immediately. They are not to enter without being summoned. The prince and princess of Duan were stunned by the emperor's sudden decision. What's going on? Why won't the emperor keep us? Didn't he dote on our daughter? Didn't he give her whatever she wanted? Princess Anyong flared at her parents. If you hadn't insisted on taking me out of the palace and angered my imperial uncle, I wouldn't have been thrown out. Just as Zhu had predicted, Princess Anyong certainly wouldn't easily relinquish her privileged position. She racked her brains, devising a cunning plan to remain in the palace. As long as she could stay, that was all that mattered. Acting immediately, Princess Anyong ran towards the large lotus pond. Head Eunuch Fu hurried back to report. The princess has fallen into the lotus pond and is unconscious. She requires rest within the palace. After all, she is His Majesty's only niece. The emperor raged. Who wants someone else's daughter? I have my own. Then, turning, he called out with a smile, Zhu. Zhu. Hearing this, Zhu startled. Father, your smile is terrifying. The emperor, holding a small dress, chased after the 18th prince. Is this your little dress that you dropped? Head Eunuch Fu, watching this scene, was dumbfounded. What is going on? The emperor scooped Zhu up into his arms and asked gently, such a pretty little dress. Don't you want to wear it? Zhu's face paled. No. Seeing this, the emperor began to bribe him, whispering in Zhu's ear, wear it, and I'll reward you with 500 taels of silver. Head Eunuch Fu and the attending servants, witnessing this, couldn't help but sigh. His Majesty misses the princess so much, he's become obsessed. He's actually having the 18th prince dress as a girl. His taste is truly peculiar. The 18th prince is a boy. He definitely won't agree. There's bound to be a tantrum. Everyone, be prepared to console the 18th prince. As the emperor held up the dress, preparing to continue persuading him, he saw Zhu reach out and grab the dress, silver gleaming in his innocent eyes. Zhu agrees. Zhu wants to wear it. He hopped about happily, holding two dresses, muttering, 500 taels of silver, 500 taels of silver. The attending servants and head Eunuch Fu thought to themselves, it's not just the emperor who has a problem in this palace. This prince isn't quite right either. Palace maid styled Zhu's hair, and he looked at himself in the mirror. Then he walked in front of the emperor, who was stunned at the sight. Indeed, dressed as a girl, Juju was the spitting image of a beautiful little princess. The emperor kissed the little one and said directly to Juju, "Juju, how about you wear this from now on? Father has already prepared many little girls' clothes for you." The emperor looked at Juju tenderly and said, "Whatever Juju wants, father will provide." The little prince, dressed as a girl, replied happily, "Juju doesn't have any conditions. Juju likes wearing this." He thought to himself, "If only I could always wear little girls' clothes." The emperor laughed heartily, picking up Juju and spinning him around. "With Juju, it's like I have a princess, haha." His laughter echoed through the great hall. A palace maid sighed. "Consort Lee is truly mad to try to curry favor this way." Head eunuch Fu agreed. "He's a prince. Why should he wear women's clothing?" The palace maid continued. "When it comes to the matter of succession, this stain will surely make things difficult for the 18th prince." Head eunuch Fu couldn't help but exclaim, "His Majesty's taste is truly unique." Back at the warm abode, the 10th prince and 11th prince came to see him. The 10th prince, resting his chin on his hand, voiced his thoughts. "Juju, you've truly been wronged. Because of father's peculiar taste, he's forced you to wear women's clothing. Elder brother will definitely find a way to get you back into men's clothing." The 11th prince also chimed in. "11th brother won't let outsiders gossip about you. Whoever dares to speak ill of you, I'll smash their mouth." Juju simply smiled reassuringly at the two of them. "Don't worry, pretty older brothers. Wearing girls' clothes makes Juju very happy." Just as he finished speaking, the little prince suddenly remembered something. "I almost forgot. Something big will happen tomorrow. Whether you two can gain favor with the crown prince and win the emperor's heart depends on tomorrow." Thinking of this, the little prince said, "10th brother, 11th brother, will you come see Juju tomorrow morning?" The 10th and 11th princes exchanged worried glances, lost in thought. "It's difficult enough for us to even see the crown prince, let alone go out and play with him. Juju is so young. Can he really help us?" The next day, the three of them snuck off to the elephant stables. The 10th prince asked curiously, "Juju, why did we come to the elephant stables?" Juju didn't answer, thinking to himself, "Of course it's because the crown prince is coming to see the elephants today. Unfortunately for him, he's going to encounter a crazed elephant that charges and nearly kills him." The little prince rubbed his chin, continuing his internal monologue. "Feng Kaiwei will cleverly save him, and the crown prince will fall in love at first sight. Shisuo will descend into chaos, and the crown prince will even risk his life to protect Feng Kaiwei, even though she doesn't love him at all." The two older princes pretended not to care, but listened intently to the whole story playing out in Juju's mind. Then Juju turned to them and asked, "10th brother, 11th brother, I heard the elephants here are very fierce. If someone were attacked by an elephant, would you rush to save them?" Both princes immediately assured him, "Of course we would." The palace maids and eunuchs standing guard outside saw the 10th and 11th princes and thought to themselves, "These two sons of palace maids, unfavored and without titles, can't even stay put in the prince's residence. What are they doing here?" They exchanged glances. "The crown prince is coming soon. Don't let them bump into his highness." No sooner had the crown prince been mentioned than he arrived. The palace maids and eunuchs immediately bowed. "Your Highness." The crown prince lifted the curtain. "I've come today to inspect the elephants, to ensure that when the time comes, each one is perfect and will bring glory to Shisuo." The crown prince looked towards the elephants and asked the guard, "What's wrong with that elephant? It seems a bit agitated." The guard replied cautiously, "Your Highness, please stay back. That elephant is in must and is very aggressive. It could hurt someone. We mustn't let you get injured." As soon as the guard finished speaking, the elephant trumpeted and charged, smashing the crown prince's carriage with its foot and sending the crown prince tumbling out. He cried out in pain, "Ah!" The crown prince's escorts hadn't yet reacted when, just as the elephant's enormous foot was about to crush the crown prince, the 10th prince rushed forward and shouted with all his might, trying to attract the crazed elephant's attention. "Hey, over here." He waved the banana in his hand, frantically, shouting even louder, "I have your favorite flowers here. Come and get them." Hearing the commotion and seeing its favorite snack, the elephant immediately turned its trunk towards the 10th prince. Hidden behind a pillar, Juju silently cheered them on. "10th brother, 11th brother, you can do it." The 11th prince, who had just rushed out to help the crown prince to his feet, immediately became the elephant's new target. It glared furiously, then swung its massive trunk with a mighty whoosh, striking the 11th prince with a thud. Ah! He cried out in pain. The 11th prince gritted his teeth and endured the pain. The crown prince, startled by the cry, opened his eyes and saw the 11th prince injured in his attempt to save him. He called out weakly, "11th brother." Seeing that one banana wasn't enough, the 11th prince held a large platter of fruit above his head and shouted with all his might, "Hey, look over here. A whole platter of your favorite fruits." Sure enough, the elephant immediately noticed the platter overflowing with fruit. The 10th prince seized the opportunity and threw the platter into the cage. "Go get it." The elephant eagerly followed it inside. While the elephant happily gorged itself, the 10th prince quickly slammed the cage door shut. Juju wiped the sweat from his brow and sighed in relief. Finally, we're safe. He noticed Princess Anyong lingering nearby and suddenly realized something. This elephant is so fierce. How did Fong Kai-wei save the crown prince before? Fong Kai-wei hid behind another pillar with a palace maid, her eyes fixed on the crown prince lying in the 11th prince's arms. Jujuk frowned in thought. Standing there watching, she thought to herself that a cold and selfish person like Princess Anyong didn't deserve the crown prince's affection. A memory surfaced. Only Lady Yu, who remained unmarried for the crown prince's sake, deserved him. Until the last moment of her life, disguised as a man, she fought against enemies, defended the country, and endured the humiliation of captivity. She was the one worthy of the crown prince. Jujuk told herself, "I must help the crown prince find true love." Having made up her mind, she ran towards the 11th prince and the crown prince. Seeing his pained expression, she cried out in worry, "11th brother, are you all right?" Jujuk asked, touching his soaked clothes. She froze. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating the crimson blood staining her hand. A moment later, she collapsed to the ground in terror. Blood, blood. The emperor sat anxiously by the bedside, listening to the imperial physician's diagnosis. "Your Majesty, the crown prince is not seriously injured. He only suffered a minor head injury and needs to rest." Hearing the voices, the crown prince slowly opened his eyes. Seeing this, the emperor reproached him with concern. "Chingin, if anything were to happen to you, how could I face your deceased mother?" The crown prince struggled to sit up and replied respectfully, "This son is unfilial, causing father such worry." Suddenly remembering something important, the crown prince hurriedly tugged on the emperor's sleeve and asked, "Father, I owe my life to 11th brother. How is he?" Hearing the crown prince mention the 11th prince, the emperor looked puzzled. "11th? Wasn't it Princess Anyong who saved you?" Everyone from the Xiong residence saw it. The servants kneeling on the ground hurriedly said, "Your Highness, you must have seen wrong. We all saw that it was Princess Anyong who saved you." The crown prince immediately retorted, "Father, I did not see wrong." The servants continued their incessant praise of Fong Kai-wei, Princess Anyong. "Your Majesty, please do not doubt. It was Princess Anyong who saved the crown prince. Your Majesty, Princess Anyong saving the crown prince is a great deed. Please reward her." Hearing the servants mention Princess Anyong again and again, the emperor roared, "Insolence! Are you saying the crown prince is lying? Slandering the crown prince, defying the emperor. Someone, drag them out and execute them." He thought to himself, "They're so eager for a reward before the truth is even clear." It seems this matter. Eunuch Fuin suddenly rushed in to report, "Your Majesty, something terrible has happened. Something's happened at Consort Shu's residence." The 18th prince, thank heavens he corrected himself, the 18th princess has fainted. The scene shifted to Consort Shu's residence. The 10th prince was at his younger brother's bedside. The imperial physician's voice drifted over. The 11th prince's wound cannot get wet. The dressing must be changed every 2 hours. Philian, holding a notepad, interrupted the physician. "Physician, could you speak a little slower? I can't keep up." At that moment, the emperor rushed in, loudly asking who was injured. Having just stepped through the door, the emperor anxiously asked, "Where's Jujuk?" "Where's my Jujuk?" Jujuk cheerfully held back the curtain and ran out, replying, "Father, I'm here." Inwardly, she thought, "Tyrant Daddy is here." Elder brother lured the elephant away with food, and 11th brother helped save the crown prince. They're both injured. Hearing Jujuk's inner thoughts, the emperor's worried heart finally settled. He breathed a sigh of relief. "Ah, I understand. 11th saved the crown prince, and was injured by the elephant. 11th, you are a good child. Spend more time with the crown prince in the future and help him share the burden. Jujuk was delighted to hear this. Does he want 11th brother to shoulder more responsibility? That's wonderful. But the 11th prince didn't want to take all the credit. Father, it was 10th brother and I who save his highness together. If it weren't for 10th brother and the elephant trainer luring the elephant away, both the crown prince and I would have been in danger. Hearing this, the emperor set Juju down, turned, and clapped the 10th prince on the shoulder. 10th, he praised, you showed courage and wisdom in the face of danger. Excellent. You should spend more time with the crown prince and help him shoulder his burdens. The 10th prince bowed respectfully. Yes, Father Emperor, I will not disappoint you. Juju, standing to the side, stroked his chin thoughtfully. It seems Tyrant Dad has forgotten about the imposter. The emperor shot Juju a sharp look, inwardly irritated. Does Juju think I'm a tyrant? Juju glared right back. Tyrant Dad, what's with that look? Meanwhile, in the Eastern Palace, Princess Anyong preened with satisfaction. Rescuing the crown prince will definitely win the emperor's favor, she thought. I'm finally going to surpass that little runt. Gleefully, she plucked a grape and was about to pop it into her mouth. Feng Kaiwei continued her fantasy. The crown prince and I are already betrothed. Now that I've saved him, he's sure to fall for me. No sooner had she thought this than a eunuch entered, cleared his throat, and proclaimed in a high-pitched voice, by the mandate of heaven, the emperor decrees. Princess Anyong, for falsely claiming merit and deceiving the emperor, is guilty of a crime punishable by death. In consideration of her years of service to the throne, her life shall be spared, but her guilt cannot be ignored. From this day forth, her title of Princess Anyong is revoked, the betrothal decree is rescinded, and she is banished from the palace. Hearing this, she was so shocked she could scarcely believe her ears. What? The crown prince was strolling in the courtyard. He seemed lost in thought, a wave of gratitude washing over him. I'm truly indebted to my 3 younger brothers. A voice called out from within, Juju. The 10th and 11th princes rushed to Juju's side. You're a lucky charm, Juju. Can your older brothers have a kiss? She certainly wasn't going to just stand there. Her face flushed slightly as she covered it with her hands. No, I'm tired of being kissed all the time. With that, she darted off, only to bump into someone. Oof. It was the crown prince. Seeing Juju, he smiled. Well, if it isn't my 18th brother. How adorable. Her past life's weakness for beautiful faces instantly resurfaced at the sight of this handsome man. Wow, Crown Prince brother is here. Crown Prince brother is so handsome. She thought this was an internal monologue, but even the Crown Prince could hear her thoughts. He shivered. What was that sound? She looked at him blankly. What's wrong? Crown Prince brother. He was startled by what was happening, but quickly pieced it together. That's 18th brother's inner voice. A look of resolve flashed in his eyes as he reassured himself. Calm down, calm down. There must be a reason for this. He regained his handsome and elegant composure, then crouched down and smiled. 18th brother, come give your Crown Prince brother a hug. She replied with an adorably naive expression. Crown Prince brother is injured, and Juju is an 18th brother. Juju was about to say 18th sister when the Crown Prince interrupted. He hastily explained, it's all Father Emperor's fault, making me dress as a boy. Now I can't even tell the difference between boys and girls. This left her speechless. The Crown Prince declared loudly, 18th brother, remember, you are a proper young man. By this point, she was too tired to explain. He turned to his 2 younger brothers, surprising them. My 2 imperial brothers, you risked your lives to save me that day. The Crown Prince stood up and dramatically announced, today, I swear before you that I will protect both of your lives with my own in the future. If I break this oath, may heaven and earth strike me down. She stood to the side, thinking with satisfaction, though aware he could probably hear her Crown Prince brother is truly a noble gentleman. It's a shame he's dragged down and killed by Feng Kaiwei in the novel. He'll never know that Lady Yu Yu sacrificed herself for him. What a tragic story. If only the Crown Prince and Lady Yu Yu could have been married. Chungyin, having overheard all of this, was utterly stunned. Even more surprising was the sight of his 2 younger brothers, the 10th and 11th princes, casually snacking on melon seeds, clearly enjoying the drama unfolding before them. Later that evening, during dinner with Juju and her mother, the emperor remarked, the Grand Empress Dowager has been praying for Shisoa at Hanshan Temple for quite some time now. The emperor continued, "The empress and consort Shu have been dutiful, attending to the Grand Empress Dowager. They will be returning to the palace soon." As she ate, Zhu inwardly cursed, "That consort Shu, my fake father's favorite, is the one who framed my mother for treason." She continued eating, glancing at her father and thinking, "Oh, that vile woman will be appearing tomorrow. I wonder if my fake father will punish her." Though unspoken, her thoughts reached someone, sending a shiver down their spine. The emperor turned to her, forcing a smile. Zhu, is the food not to your liking?" She didn't answer, only stared at her food, her inner turmoil churning. "Doesn't my fake father understand? How can I swallow this food when the injustice against my mother and brother remains unaddressed?" The emperor, attempting to distract her, offered, "Shall I take you to the imperial garden, Zhu? Perhaps we can look for butterflies." At this, her face brightened. "Yes, let's catch butterflies." The emperor stroked her head. A child is a child, after all. In the palace courtyard, the setting sun cast a warm glow over the gardens. Zhu chased butterflies, her small form flitting through the flowers, the emperor following close behind, content in the simple joy of the moment. His peace, however, was short-lived. Gossiping voices like insidious weeds soon sprung up. "Have you heard? The Grand Empress Dowager, the Empress, and consort Shu are returning to the palace tomorrow." Another voice replied, "Of course. Once the Grand Empress Dowager returns, Consort Li and the 18th Prince will surely be sent back to the cold palace." Zhu, her playful mood shattered by the overheard whispers, stopped abruptly. The gossipers continued, oblivious to her presence. And Consort Shu has always been the emperor's favorite. Once she's back, he'll surely forget all about that mother and son. A dark cloud descended over Zhu's features. "I don't want to play anymore. I'm going back." As the emperor started to speak, she added sharply, "And no one is to follow me." She turned and left, leaving the emperor standing alone. He hadn't even had a chance to finish his sentence. He didn't pursue her, instead commanding his attendants, "Seize those two gossip mongers." Seeing Zhu's distress, he added a chilling order, "Cut out their tongues and feed them to the dogs. Then beat them to death." The next day, everyone was already waiting to welcome the Grand Empress Dowager. Zhu turned to her mother. "Mother, do you think the Grand Empress Dowager will like us?" Her mother offered gentle reassurance. "The Grand Empress Dowager is very benevolent. Years ago, when I was pregnant with you, it was the Grand Empress Dowager who, against everyone's wishes, spared my life." Overhearing this, her fake father added, "Zhu is so adorable. Grandmama will surely love you." Comforted by their words, Zhu's anxieties eased and a bright smile bloomed on her face. "Then Zhu isn't afraid." Just then, the eunuch announced, "Her Imperial Majesty, the Grand Empress Dowager, returns to the palace." Slow, stately footsteps approached. At the forefront walked the Grand Empress Dowager, the star of the day, flanked by the Empress. Consort Shu followed behind them, and everyone bowed respectfully. Zhu felt a flicker of apprehension. This grandmama looks so stern. She doesn't seem very happy. Finally, the Grand Empress Dowager spoke. "I have been away from the palace for some time." Maintaining her regal composure, she continued, "It seems much has transpired." The emperor approached the Grand Empress Dowager. "Mother, you have finally returned." He turned to Zhu and said, "This is Zhu, whom I mentioned in my previous letter." Upon hearing the emperor mention her, she appeared somewhat shy. The emperor approached the Grand Empress Dowager and whispered, "I'm the one who had her dressed in girl's clothing. If you're angry, blame me. Don't blame Zhu, and don't blame Consort Li. Both Zhu and Consort Li are innocent." Clinging tightly to her mother, Zhu trembled as she looked at the Grand Empress Dowager, thinking, "This grandmother empress has such a powerful aura. So fierce, so scary. I'm so afraid." Like lightning, the Grand Empress Dowager's expression faltered for a moment. "I'm fierce. I'm scary," she thought. Suddenly realizing the crux of the matter, she thought with surprise, "Wait, how can I hear this child's thoughts?" Struggling to maintain her composure, she turned to the emperor and said, "Your Majesty, I am angry with you. You have such a lovely little princess, and you didn't tell me sooner, so I could return earlier." Putting on a benevolent expression, she approached Zhu. "Sweet Zhu, come, let Grandmother Empress give you a hug." Zhu hesitated for a moment, then reached out and took the Grand Empress Dowager's hand. The Grand Empress Dowager picked her up, patted her gently, and looked at her with soft eyes. "How can there be such a lovely child in the world?" she murmured. Having lived for half a century, her eyes had seen countless people and events. Now, with her sharp gaze, she couldn't help but ponder, looking at Juju's bone structure and features, and hearing her call her grandmother Empress. The old woman had to admit, we're all blind. This little princess is clearly extraordinarily beautiful. The Grand Empress Dowager, her mood greatly improved, offered a gift. Juju is such a good child. This is a gift from Grandmother Empress. As someone who loved wealth in her past life, Juju's eyes lit up at the sight of gold. I love Grandmother Empress the most. Standing to the side, her fake father felt a pang of displeasure. Love the most, he muttered through gritted teeth. You little money grubber. She looked at her father and cried out, Father. Before she could finish, Consort Shu arrived, saying, Your Majesty, the Imperial Palace, the birthplace of the ultimate drama queen. Juju continued, During the days we were apart, I miss you day and night. The Emperor responded indifferently, Yes, yes. Consort Shu, you've worked hard. The banquet is ready. Let's go. With that, he rushed towards Juju, who was being held by the Grand Empress Dowager. Mother, let me hold Juju. Juju's expression clearly said, Serves you right for talking to Consort Shu. Now you've lost me. The Emperor was annoyed but helpless. Throughout the lavish banquet, Juju remained seated beside the Grand Empress Dowager. The Grand Empress Dowager exuded an aura of authority, while Juju busied herself with eating. The Emperor, growing increasingly irritated, asked the Grand Empress Dowager, Aren't you tired of holding Juju? The Grand Empress Dowager calmly replied, Your Majesty, this is the 10th time you've asked. I'm not tired. However, you're tiring me with your questions. At that moment, Consort Shu appeared at his side. Your Majesty, she said, allow me to offer you a drink. The Emperor didn't seem particularly pleased. She took the opportunity to snuggle closer. I miss your Majesty day and night. Could you perhaps grace my chambers with your presence tonight? Juju greatly disliked this. She glared at her fake father and cursed inwardly. Bad woman. Annoying. My fake father won't go to her place. These thoughts caused the Emperor to awkwardly glance back at her. She continued to complain in her mind. When will my fake father clear my mother's name? It was all Consort Shu's doing. She framed my mother. Colluding with the enemy is a capital offense. Although no one could hear her thoughts, the Emperor seemed to sense them, becoming even more uncomfortable. He took the wine cup offered by Consort Shu and drained it in one gulp, much to her delight. Seeing the Emperor accept her wine, Consort Shu said, Your Majesty, I have prepared a sobering soup in my chambers. I await you tonight. The gauzy curtains by the bed drifted down. Consort Shu gleefully disrobed, clad only in a thin undergarment as she awaited the Emperor. Why hasn't His Majesty arrived yet? She wondered aloud, a flicker of curiosity in her eyes. Suddenly, a palace maid entered with a report. Your Highness, the maid stammered, His Majesty. His Majesty has gone to Shushu residence, laden with gifts. Consort Shu's heart lurched. She bolted upright. What? She demanded. He went to that wretch, consortly, instead of me. Swiftly redressing, she stood regally before the trembling maid. I've only been gone a fortnight. She fumed inwardly, and that Li woman dares to play these games. Consort Shu gritted her teeth. Seeing their mistress's expression, the servants added fuel to the fire. Who knows what kind of sorcery Consort Li used? One whispered, but lately His Majesty only has eyes for her. Another chimed in, indeed. Even the 18th prince is showered with affection. His Majesty doesn't even glance at the other consorts. A sharp crack echoed through the room as a 1,000-tail bowl shattered into 100 pieces. Consort Shu clenched her fists, venting her rage on the nearby servants. That Jianrun, vile woman. Who does she think she is? Her resentment towards Consort Li and her son deepened. Last time I framed her for colluding with the enemy, she still didn't die. She hissed. This time, I'll show her what I'm capable of. The Emperor, having just arrived, overheard Consort Shu's venomous plot. He stepped inside, a sneer playing on his lips. He thought to himself, a little probing and her true colors are revealed. This venomous woman. How can a mere consort have ties to the court factions? The Emperor, realizing the gaping hole in his control over the court factions, seethed with anger, his fists clenching. Consort Shu's voice continued. This time, I won't be so kind as to send her to the cold palace. I'll utterly destroy her. Having witnessed everything, the Emperor could not stand idly by. With a cold flick of his wrist, he signaled to Fuin, his eunuch, who stood behind him. Fuin, understanding immediately, pushed open the door. Oblivious to the impending doom, consort Shu continued to vent her frustrations, berating an innocent maid. "You wretch, what are you staring at? I'm not the emperor. You can't seduce me." The maid waited until consort Shu finished before timidly lowering her head. Your Majesty," she whispered. A chill swept through the room. Consort Shu's face paled, and beads of sweat trickled down her forehead, betraying her inner fear. Maintaining a semblance of decorum, consort Shu knelt in a respectful bow. "Your Majesty," she stammered. "Tish, this concubine greets your Majesty." When did your Majesty arrive?" Incandescent with rage at her audacity, the Emperor delivered a swift, brutal kick. Consort Shu cried out in pain. "I have never struck a woman before," the Emperor roared. "You, Consort Shu, are the first. You disgust me." Realizing her blunder, she pathetically crawled to his feet, clinging to his leg. "Your Majesty," she sobbed, "this concubine spoke nonsense. It was all lies. This concubine only loves your Majesty deeply." Hearing that your Majesty was with Consort Li, this concubine's heart ached. It was jealousy that made this concubine utter those words. This time, the Emperor was glacial. He flung her aside without hesitation. His voice boomed with authority. "Guards, announced to the 6 palaces, Consort Shu, for framing a fellow consort, is hereby stripped of her title and banished to the cold palace." The Emperor paused, then continued. "The matter of Consort Li colluding with the enemy was a misunderstanding. Today, her innocence is restored. Consort Li is innocent. Her family is innocent. Recall them at once. As for the 13th prince," the Emperor stroked his chin thoughtfully. "The 13th prince. A suitable opportunity is needed to bring him back. Otherwise, the court officials' gossip will be unstoppable." Meanwhile, Juju lay in bed, chatting with her mother. "Mother, tell me another story, please," Juju pleaded, "and then I'll go to sleep." Consort Li looked at her adorable daughter with a fond exasperation. "You little rascal," she chuckled. As they chatted happily, a palace maid rushed in with exciting news. "Your Highness, a reward from the Emperor." Consort Li's residence was brightly lit. She was stunned by the lavish gifts that arrived. It was so sudden. Juju, gazing at the mountain of treasures, asked excitedly, "Why did Father suddenly send us so many beautiful things? Speak of the devil, and he shall appear." The Emperor arrived, his voice gentle as he called, "Consort Li." She responded, still slightly dazed, "Your Majesty." The Emperor's voice was filled with remorse. "I have wronged you these past years. I heard with my own ears Consort Shu confess to framing you, accusing you of colluding with the enemy. I should have investigated thoroughly then, instead of banishing you to the cold palace." Consort Li spoke softly, "Your Majesty, let the past be. We must let go of what has been to embrace the future." The Emperor questioned, "You don't blame me?" "I wouldn't dare, Your Majesty," she replied respectfully. Her demeanor and words left the Emperor feeling somewhat awkward. Juju, observing the scene, speculated, when a man, especially an emperor, asks a woman if she blames him, it means he has feelings for her. A wave of unease washed over her. This tyrannical old fool wouldn't have taken a liking to Mother, would he? Overhearing his daughter's thoughts, the Emperor inwardly cursed little imp. Her mother turned to her, her gaze softening. "What do you know about liking someone, child?" The Emperor doesn't like anyone. She patted Juju's head and then, abruptly, dismissed her guest. "Your Majesty, it's getting late. You should return to your chambers and rest." Her pretend father was reluctant to leave. "But I want to stay here with you tonight." Consort Li politely refused. "Your Majesty is welcome to stay, but I will retire to the side hall." The Emperor's disappointment was evident. "Very well, then." Suddenly, the Emperor turned and scooped Juju into his arms. "I'll wait until you agree before I go back to sleep." Of course, he wasn't leaving alone. He looked at Consort Li and said, "Juju, come with me." Juju hadn't expected this. Despicable tyrant. Mother rejects you, so you take me hostage. Poor little Juju. Despite her inner grumbling, the Emperor's gaze held a complex mix of emotions as he looked at her. And though she complained, she slept soundly. "This fake father's bed isn't bad," she mused. Seeing she was awake, he turned to her. "Juju, you're awake. Father will take you to court." She could hardly believe her ears. "Huh? Take me to court? Is this old man joking?" Whether she liked it or not, her father dragged her along. Holding his precious daughter before all his subjects, a sense of pride swelled within him. "Let everyone know that I have a treasured daughter." His stern countenance masked his inner joy. My daughter is the cutest, most adorable little girl in the world, even dressed in boys' clothes. The court officials below echoed his sentiment. The 18th princess is truly a celestial being. The 18th princess possesses the emperor's regal bearing. Suddenly, the sound of shackled footsteps echoed through the hall. It was General Su. The emperor finally spoke. General Su, seated upon the dragon throne, he began his interrogation. In the battles to defend Shirsao, you have suffered defeat after defeat. An incompetent general endangers the nation. Do you admit your guilt? General Su immediately confessed. I am guilty of a capital offense. Zhu tugged on her pretend father's robe. How do I tell father? General Su was actually incredibly skilled. Remembering details from the book, she knew the reason for his repeated defeats was a traitor within their ranks. He had also been poisoned and controlled, which was why he kept losing. It wasn't intentional. He was utterly loyal to our Western Chu kingdom. As Zhu looked at the man kneeling before her, confessing his guilt, a flicker of sympathy ignited within her. General Chu was truly pitiful. His 3 sons and 1 daughter had all perished on the battlefield, and his wife had been captured by the Southern Kingdom. To spare his wife from humiliation and to maintain his loyalty to Western Chu, he had shot her dead with his own arrow. Yet he had never spoken of these things, never sought recognition for his sacrifice. He was a true man of unwavering integrity. The emperor, overhearing her thoughts, was utterly stunned, a wave of panic washing over him. General Chu's children and wife were all dead, and their deaths were so tragic. If Zhu hadn't reminded me, he patted her head gently, I would never have known in my entire life. The surrounding ministers chimed in agreement. Your Majesty, General Chu never lost a single battle before confronting the Southern Kingdom. Yet against them, he has suffered defeat after defeat. We suspect his loyalty to our nation. One after another, they voiced their opinions. Your Majesty, our Western Chu cannot tolerate traitors. We implore your Majesty to deal with this spy and execute General Chu. Zhu rolled her eyes at these ministers. These court officials were so annoying, not helping her tyrant father one bit, only inciting him to kill. She gently reminded her fake father in her thoughts. If Western Chu kills General Chu, the morale of the soldiers will plummet and there will be no one left to fight. 10 years from now, the downfall of Western Chu will be inevitable. Just like it's written in the book, no one will be able to fight, and eventually it will fragment and perish. She sighed, hoping her tyrant father would be wise enough to understand General Chu's loyalty and importance and spare his life. These thoughts filled her fake father with guilt. He reminded her, Zhu, sit properly. Your imperial father will handle the affairs of state. Finally, a chance to use his imperial title. He declared, Prime Minister, Minister of Justice, I command you both to thoroughly investigate the reasons for Chu Yu's defeats and also investigate Chu Yu's family situation. After the investigation is complete, we will determine Chu Yu's guilt. For now, imprison Chu Yu and summon the imperial physician to treat him. Hearing these words, General Chu was astonished. Zhu remained silent, but hoped her tyrant father understood her meaning. He should send the assistant imperial physician. The imperial physician only specializes in gynecology, known as the sacred hand of gynecology, only useful for women and not skilled in ancient orthopedics. It's better to do as she thought and send the assistant imperial physician. The imperial physician needs to attend to the concubines of the harem. Hearing her fake father's words, her eyes lit up without a doubt. Ah, Imperial Father is truly wise and mighty, completely different from the mad tyrant in the book. He actually thought the same thing as Zhu. The emperor didn't know whether his daughter was praising him or mocking him, but he didn't expect Zhu to kiss him on the cheek. He also heard her thoughts. Zhu wants to give tyrant daddy a kiss. The emperor looked at Zhu, his face beaming. Today, I protected one of the 4 pillars of the empire. I feel very relieved. It's not just daddy who's happy. Zhu is excited too. Zhu also feels very relieved. She said cheerfully, then climbed onto his neck, forcing him to exclaim, Be careful. Without a word, she grabbed a handful of his hair and started playing with it. Somehow, she tied a large bow on the emperor's hair and cheered, Pretty daddy. His expression darkened noticeably. The eunuch beside him, sensing trouble, quickly said, 18th princess, this undermines His Majesty's dignity. But contrary to the eunuch's expectations, the emperor was actually quite pleased. As long as Zhu was happy, that was all that mattered. In the study, father and daughter were supposed to be studying, but in reality, only daddy was reading. Juju sat beside him, lost in thought. She couldn't understand why General Su had suffered so much, been so unjustly accused, yet no one seemed to know. This question caught the Emperor's attention. Her logical mind continued to work. Something this significant, even if General Su himself didn't speak of it, her father should at least know something, right? But the Emperor seemed completely unaware of what General Su had endured. The more she thought, the more uneasy she became. Could someone be deliberately preventing the news from reaching the Emperor? Was their purpose to use the Emperor's hand to unknowingly eliminate General Su, a pillar of the court? The Emperor lost interest in the memorials, put them down, and declared, "I will personally investigate this matter. I will get to the bottom of this." He looked down at her and said, "Juju, you go back to your mother. Father has a case to investigate. I'll come find you when I'm finished." Her eyes lit up. Father is so impressive. The Emperor preened under his daughter's praise. The scene shifted to the general's residence. Sui knelt. The Emperor began, "Before coming here, I went to the Ministry of Justice and looked into some things. General Su, if you have something to say, say it." Sui gritted his teeth. "Your Majesty, even if I speak, you may not believe me. It might be better to remain silent." The Emperor simply replied, "Whether I believe it or not is up to me. Speak." At this, Sui finally spoke. "It's Zhang Wangxin." Sui clenched his fists. "He has been blocking memorials concerning my family affairs, and also many military matters. I've been campaigning for years, and haven't been able to have an audience with your Majesty. Last year's southern campaign. Many of the problems with military supplies were caused by him. I suspect he is a spy for the Southern Kingdom." Hearing this, the Emperor was startled. "A spy? I hadn't considered that." "Another one." Sui lowered his head. "Your Majesty, if you think my words are baseless, you can disregard them. I will find evidence to prove this matter." The Emperor abruptly stood, deeply shocked by the information he had received. "General Su, recuperate well at your residence. I will personally investigate this matter." With that, he left the general's residence. Bang! The Emperor furiously threw down the memorials. That damned Zhang Wangxin. He was enraged at being so fooled. On the surface, a loyal minister, doing nothing wrong, but in reality, practically betraying Western Chu. Behind him stood members of the Shui GZ, the investigative organization exclusive to Emperor Xiaoming. The Emperor sat down, unable to believe the truth he had uncovered. That year, the Western Chu silver mines were plundered by the Southern Kingdom, resulting in a loss of General 1 and 3,000 warhorses. Earlier this year, the granary caught fire, and General Su was nearly assassinated. Zhang Wangxin's hand was in all of these incidents. He thought, this is a headache. Wei Qian in the harem, Zhang Wangxin in the court. How can Western Chu not fall? Looking at his clenched fists, he thought that it has lasted 10 years is already a blessing from heaven. The Emperor, filled with rage, commanded the Imperial Guard. Zhang Wangxin colluded with foreign enemies and betrayed the nation. His fury reached its peak. Execute Zhang Wangxin's 9 clans. Hang their heads on the city gates with Wei Qian as a public display. The Imperial Guard responded in unison, yes. But he also silently thanked Juju. Juju is truly my lucky star. No, she is Western Chu's lucky star. He turned and asked the eunuch, where is Juju? What is she doing? Where is she? The eunuch replied, Your Majesty, the princess is with His Highness the Crown Prince. After a moment, the emissaries from the defeated southern kingdoms seeking peace will soon arrive, offering land and reparations. His Highness the Crown Prince is responsible for receiving them. The princess enjoys lively occasions, so she went with His Highness. Across the bridge, Juju diligently pored over a book titled 108 Ways to Handle Foreign Envoys. However, her glazed-over eyes betrayed the fact that its wisdom was largely lost on her. Inwardly, she cursed, these characters squirm and wriggle like worms and crickets. They're making my head spin. The Crown Prince gently supported her. The Crown Prince's gaze held a mixture of exasperation and fondness. Suddenly, he said, Xiao Yi, bring some incense to refresh the air. The attendant, Xiao Yi, responded, Yes, Your Highness. Hearing this, Juju clutched her cat tightly, a look of alarm spreading across her face. Why is Xiao Yi with my brother? The Crown Prince looked at her in confusion, but she seemed oblivious, lost in thought. That's that harmful vixen. She's a spy. She'll harm our Western Shu and my dear brother, the Crown Prince. As soon as she finished speaking, the Crown Prince abruptly looked up. Seeing his reaction, Zhao Er said, "Your Highness, even the Crown Prince that didn't realize this person before him was a spy." He amused himself. Zhao Er is the spy. Zhu continued to stare at Zhao Er's retreating figure. This Zhao Er is not simple. She's a spy sent by the Southern Kingdom, carrying poison. Western Shu was defeated before, and then received the Southern Kingdom's envoys. Xiao Huan colluded with the envoys, using poison both internally and externally. The envoys feigned death, causing Western Shu to lose 5 cities. She worried, although Western Shu won this time, and we don't have to worry about losing cities. Zhao Er will definitely use poison to make it look like Western Shu harmed the envoys of another nation. Will be condemned by all the kingdoms. Simply ceding land as compensation won't solve the problem. Western Shu finally achieved victory, but will be forced to cede land as compensation. Wouldn't this battle have been fought in vain? She was so lost in thought that she didn't notice the turmoil in the Crown Prince's heart. Indeed, the Crown Prince was also troubled. Not killing envoys during wartime is a 1,000-year-old rule. If the envoys die, Western Shu's victory will be for nothing, and my position as Crown Prince. Zhao Er spoke, "Your Highness, do you have any further instructions?" He replied coldly, "You may leave." But inwardly, he began to analyze. Zhao Er is skilled in incense making. If she uses incense to poison, it will be difficult to prevent. But this is not a long-term solution. Even if Zhao Er is eliminated, there will be countless other Zhao Ers in the future, making it even harder to guard against. What should I do? Should I drink the envoy's poison wine? If I'm poisoned, the envoy's scheme won't succeed, and they'll still have to cede land to Western Shu. His thoughts were idle and somewhat cowardly. He coughed, "But if I'm poisoned and there's no antidote, that I will die. I haven't made any achievements, haven't married, haven't had children, and haven't even met that Miss You that Zhu mentioned." In short, he had some ideas, but none were particularly brilliant. Now, it was Zhu's turn to strategize. If Brother Crown Prince can secretly obtain the antidote from the envoy, then after the envoy is poisoned, we can expose the Southern Kingdom's attempt to frame Western Shu. A cunning glint flashed at her eyes. Then Western Shu can turn the tables, and maybe even make them cede more land and pay more compensation. The Crown Prince was overjoyed. Why didn't I think of such a simple solution? Why did I only think of the foolish idea of poisoning myself? He kissed her cheek. This proves that Zhu is incredibly intelligent, truly my lucky star. The cat in Zhu's arms covered its eyes. Zhu froze, thinking vaguely, what's wrong with Brother Crown Prince? My face has suffered again. Acting immediately, she began preparing medicinal herbs, thinking smugly to herself, "Fortunately, I've learned quite a few prescriptions from the imperial physician." In her past life, Zhu, completely oblivious to the figure behind her, was busy giving herself a pep talk. "Even if Brother Crown Prince can't find the antidote," she muttered, "I can concoct a universal one for him." The Emperor, having arrived unnoticed, inquired, "Who's ill? Where's the imperial physician?" The Empress, present in the scene, replied smoothly, "No one is ill, Your Majesty." Zhu simply took a sudden interest in playing with medicinal herbs. Upon hearing this, the Emperor declared magnanimously, "There's no need to economize. Inform the imperial physician that the princess requires medicinal herbs. Bring her all of them, and let her play to her heart's content." A eunuch acknowledged the command. "Yes, Your Majesty." The Emperor approached Zhu and asked gently, "Zhu, do you need your father's help?" Not only did she not refuse, but she offered him the mortar and pestle, her eyes sparkling. "Yes, please. This is too heavy. Father is strong. How could he refuse his precious daughter's request?" The Emperor rolled up his sleeves, even as a nearby servant interjected, "Your Majesty, your dragon body is precious. Allow this old servant to do it." The Emperor, without even lifting his head, dismissed the offer. No need. He joined her in her task, and she watched him with adoration. "Father is so amazing. You've ground the herbs so finely." With a flourish, she proudly displayed the results of their combined efforts. The universal antidote is complete. A mischievous glint entered her eyes. "This princess shall subdue all the villains in the world. Kill, kill, kill." From behind her came the Emperor's amused chuckle. "All right, my princess." He scooped her up into his arms. "It's time for dinner." In the family dining hall, the Emperor placed her gently onto a chair, teasing playfully, "Please be seated, princess." A warmth spread through Juju's heart, a feeling of connection blooming within her. These words are so familiar, she thought. I heard them in my past life, but no one ever said them to me. Suddenly, throwing etiquette to the wind, she kissed her father's cheek. In this life, someone finally treats me like a princess. Already happy, the emperor's joy now overflowed. Juju is showing me affection again. He cast aside all imperial decorum, acting like a personal attendant. Princess, please take your chopsticks. Princess, please hold your bowl. Princess, please open your mouth. The empress, watching this father-daughter exchange, sighed, her expression a mixture of exasperation and fondness. The room wasn't just a place for a simple meal. It was a warm family gathering, filled with laughter and joy. 3 days later, at a court banquet, a eunuch's voice rang out, announcing the emissaries from the Southern Kingdom. The Southern Kingdom emissaries bowed deeply. Your Majesty, Emperor of Western Shu, we have come today to discuss peace. Juju sat on her father's lap as the emperor responded, rise. The emissaries straightened and raised their cups. As a token of our sincerity, we offer a toast to His Majesty, the Emperor of Western Shu. The emperor lifted his own cup, but it wasn't filled with wine. He explained, today, I am accompanied by my beloved daughter. She dislikes the smell of alcohol, so I will substitute tea for wine. Juju thought wryly, you're just showing off your daughter, aren't you? After drinking, the emissaries let out strange noises, clutched their mouths, and collapsed. Chaos erupted in the hall. What's wrong with the emissaries? Black blood, poisoned. They were poisoned right after drinking. Someone poisoned them. As planned, the emissaries' attendants began to accuse it was the people of Western Shu. We came to forge an alliance for mutual protection, not to die like this. The emperor, feigning surprise, asked Crown Prince, what is the meaning of this? Unlike his father, the Crown Prince remained calm. Let them continue their performance a little longer. Juju, eager to know the truth, thought, it seems Brother Crown Prince has already found proof that the emissaries poisoned themselves. Hearing her thoughts, the emperor breathed a sigh of relief. So that's how it is. Other members of the royal family were shocked. Eighth prince, princess. Wait, why can I hear the princess's thoughts? A small hint. Those with Juner's bloodline can hear her thoughts. The emperor's voice boomed. What's going on here? The crown prince produced a small vial. Don't panic. I'll handle this, he thought to himself. Let's see what tricks you try to pull now. Thanks to Juju's plan, I found the antidote in the emissaries' quarters. He strode towards the Southern Kingdom emissaries and rebuked them. We of the Western Shu dynasty have always acted with integrity. We would never resort to poison. He continued confidently, if the emissaries wish to request the alliance's mediation, feel free. And so, the alliance representatives arrived in the Western Shu dynasty. The Southern Kingdom officials cried out, Your Excellency, you must uphold justice for us. Emissaries should not be harmed during wartime. Yet the Western Shu royal family has shown no honor, poisoning our emissary, Lu Chun. The alliance leader finally spoke, Your Majesty, Emperor of Western Shu, the Southern Kingdom emissaries collapsed from poisoning at your banquet. The culprit must be the Western Shu royal family. What do you have to say? The Southern Kingdom entourage echoed, Yes, yes, yes. They must pay the price. Only then will they learn their lesson. The Crown Prince retorted, Pay the price. What price? The Southern Kingdom officials grew more arrogant. The matter of ceding land to Western Shu is now off the table. Furthermore, the Emperor of Western Shu must apologize to us. Hearing this, the Emperor rose to his feet. As I see it, you Southern Kingdom people poison yourselves and framed Western Shu. He continued, Your goal is to avoid ceding land after your defeat. Juju chimed in exactly. They countered, What proof do you have? The Crown Prince held up a familiar small vial. I do, he replied. He explained confidently, I found the antidote in the Southern Kingdom emissaries' quarters. Feigning composure, the Southern Kingdom officials said, We don't acknowledge this. How can His Highness prove that this antidote was found in our quarters? Just because it's a medicine vial commonly used in the Southern Kingdom doesn't mean it's ours. Unfazed, the Crown Prince responded, Simple. He handed the vial to the imperial physician in front of everyone. You examined the Southern Kingdom emissaries earlier, but couldn't determine the poison. Now I have the antidote. Examine the poison and the antidote together. You should be able to identify the poison, shouldn't you? The imperial physician replied, Indeed. While I'm not an expert in poisons, and cannot formulate antidotes. With the antidote in hand, I can certainly identify the type of poison. He immediately sniffed the vial, discerning the poison. Even the imperial physician was surprised. I know it. I've encountered this scent in the Southern Kingdom. This poison must be Red Arrow, a potent toxin exclusive to the Southern Kingdom royalty. It requires a specific temperature for preservation and can only be produced in the Southern Kingdom. As is the antidote, the Crown Prince declared, "In that case, I'll present this to the Alliance leader." The imperial physician turned and presented the vial to the Alliance representative. "Whether or not this is the antidote, Your Excellency can test it and find out." The Alliance representative administered the medicine to the emissary. The emissary stirred, his eyes slowly fluttering open, a groan escaping his lips. Lucien exclaimed, "This is indeed the antidote." But the emissary seemed even more surprised upon seeing the Alliance representative. With the truth revealed, the Emperor Xiaoming announced, "Emissaries of the Southern Kingdom, do you confess to framing Western Shu?" The entire emissary delegation immediately fell to their knees, begging for mercy. Their demeanor completely changed. "We were wrong. We were wrong. We poisoned ourselves and framed Western Shu. We beg Your Majesty, the Emperor of Western Shu, for forgiveness." But it wouldn't be that easy. The Emperor scoffed. "Now you beg for mercy. Weren't you quite arrogant just a moment ago?" The Alliance representative bowed. "Your Majesty, Emperor of Western Shu, the truth has come to light. The Southern Kingdom acted shamefully, intending to harm others. Originally, the Southern Kingdom was to cede land as compensation. Now, they must double the compensation as a warning to others." Zhu turned and gave a thumbs up. "Big brother Crown Prince, beautifully done." Needless to say, the Crown Prince's face beamed with pride. Royal attendants rushed forward with congratulations. "Congratulations, Your Majesty. May Western Shu prosper." The Emperor, his heart brimming with joy, announced a grand reward. The Crown Prince strode forward, Zhu cradled in his arms. Gratitude welled within him. Zhu not only saved Western Shu, but she saved my throne as well. She truly is my little lucky star. Zhu, however, was less than pleased. Being carried around all day, looks like Zhu doesn't need legs anymore. Father and son exchanged warm greetings. The Emperor spoke, "Crown Prince, you've arrived at the perfect moment. It's time to reveal the truth." Episode 8, starring the Emperor. With a serious expression, he demanded, "Return her to me. Go and investigate the poisoning incident." The Crown Prince feigned ignorance. "Return what?" The Emperor pointed at Zhu. "Return Zhu to me. You've been holding her for far too long." Caught off guard, the Crown Prince could only reply, "Yes, Your Majesty." Lucien Gregor then brought up another matter. "The Southern Kingdom affair isn't fully resolved. The waiter in my residence is a spy from the Southern Kingdom, but I lack concrete evidence." The Emperor waved his hand dismissively. "The Southern Kingdom has clearly been stirring up trouble in Western Shu. Investigate this thoroughly." The Crown Prince, unable to refuse, felt a pang of resentment. Sullenly, he replied, "As you command." Other members of the royal family, witnessing the Crown Prince's apparent fall from grace, exchanged covert smiles. The Emperor, however, was thoroughly enjoying himself. Zhu is so adorable. A chorus of voices erupted, each vying for the Emperor's favor. "Your Majesty, Princess Yushu is so lovely, and the only princess in 3 generations. I request permission to take Zhu back to my residence to raise her for a time." Another chimed in, "I, too, wish to experience the joy of raising a daughter." Zhu felt like a toy being passed around. Are they treating Zhu like a monkey? So many people want to borrow Zhu, even take Zhu home to look at. So annoying. Zhu is going to turn into an ugly duckling. Not cute at all. She didn't realize that her pouting only amplified her charm. "Oh, the princess is so cute. I want to hug her, kiss her, toss her in the air." She turned and clung to her father. "No, Zhu won't go. Zhu can't leave mother and overbearing daddy." The Emperor's voice, firm and final, settled the matter. "The princess is still young. It's not appropriate for her to go elsewhere." Prince Ning spoke up. "The princess isn't that young anymore. She's already 5, can eat and drink on her own. There wouldn't be any problem. The emperor continued to make excuses. No, the princess is still nursing. Prince Ning persisted. Then bring the wet nurse along. The Prince Ning residence can certainly afford a wet nurse. Seeing the emperor's continued refusal, Prince Ning grew disgruntled. Elder brother, you once kept Prince Duan's daughter in the palace to experience raising a daughter. Now, when your younger brothers wish to have the same experience, you refuse. Isn't this a double standard? His words held a certain logic. The emperor issued a warning to Prince Ning. You are overstepping your bounds. These words sent Prince Ning immediately to his knees. Your Majesty, I spoke frankly. I beg your Majesty to understand my feelings. It is out of genuine affection for the little princess that I spoke these words. Please forgive me. Today is a joyous occasion. I will overlook this transgression. Rise. At this moment, the Grand Empress Dowager emerged, stepping in to diffuse the tension. The emperor truly dotes on the princess. Even I can barely get close to her. The princess is still young. I understand all of your good intentions. When the princess is a little older, she can accompany you outside the palace to play. Just then, another voice rose, catching the Grand Empress Dowager's attention. It's fine if your Majesty won't allow the princess to visit my residence. The fourth prince, uncle to Emperor Xiaoning, made his request. However, some time ago, your Majesty obtained the Eastern Pearl. Might you bestow it upon this old minister? The Grand Empress Dowager retorted, Prince Su, what do you need the Eastern Pearl for? A murmur rippled through the assembled courtiers. The old princess consort has long since passed. Who would he give it to? The Eastern Pearl is a rare treasure, specifically meant to adorn the Empress Dowager's phoenix crown. Prince Su dares to ask for it, dares to covet the Empress Dowager's possessions. Even the Empress doesn't have that privilege. Hearing Prince Su's words, Zhu thought to herself, I know why. He wants to give it to his concubine. This thought, once voiced, stunned everyone present. The concubine was young and beautiful, avaricious and demanding, while the 80-year-old Prince Su seemed willing to pluck the stars from the sky for her. Her next thought shocked the emperor, the Empress Dowager, and everyone else. She wasn't the least bit worried that Prince Su would throw out his back. A suppressed giggle escaped her. The emperor, attempting to maintain his composure, coughed twice. Ahem. All eyes turned inquiringly to Prince Su. He too coughed twice in response. Ahem. In any case, your Majesty, your Highness the Empress Dowager, this old minister has but one wish. He continued his plea, unashamed. I hope your Majesty, mindful of my 80 years, will grant my request. Zhu tugged on her father's sleeve. Tyrant father, don't agree. Turning to the Empress Dowager, she said, otherwise, Grandmama will be the laughingstock of the outsiders. They'll say that Prince Su's concubine lords it over even you. If Grandmama gets angry, she'll have a stroke and be paralyzed. Her life will be in danger. This thought immediately alarmed the others, and they chimed in, Your Majesty, this is a serious matter. Please reconsider. Seeing the situation turn against him, Prince Su played his trump card. Your Majesty, Your Highness, if you are unwilling to give the Eastern Pearl to this old minister, then I will dash my brains out against this pillar. He gestured dramatically towards a nearby column. He continued his threat. Surely you don't want news of this old minister's death by self-inflicted head injury to spread on such a joyous occasion. The emperor, nursing a growing headache, tried to appease him. Prince Su, please calm down. He then turned to his daughter for help. Prince Su once saved the previous emperor's life, and there's an imperial edict protecting him. Zhu, quickly think of a way to help your father. Zhu's expression indicated she was all too familiar with these theatrics. The emperor, finally noticing her, asked Zhu, are you sleepy? With such juicy gossip, how could I be sleepy? She retorted, Zhu's not sleepy. Seeing this, the emperor offered her a pastry. Zhu must be hungry. Eat this. Her eyes lit up at the sight of food. Munching on the pastry and eavesdropping, she felt the world was a wonderful place. Prince Su is such a lecherous old man, spoiling his concubine like this. But later, all 7 of his sons will be killed by her. That concubine is a truly wicked woman. He shouldn't be so infatuated with her. Prince Su, overhearing this, grew suspicious. Little girl, what nonsense are you spouting? I don't believe you. At this, she spoke up. Grandpa Su, you want the Eastern Pearl, right? Prince Su's face brightened. Yes, indeed. She smoothly intervened on her father's behalf. My father has the Eastern Pearl. He can give it to you. It's just, it will take some time to deliver it. I wonder if you can wait. Prince Su was overjoyed. Wait, of course I can wait. Your Majesty, is what the princess says true? The emperor silently applauded. Well done, Juju. You bought us some time. Aloud, he said, of course it's true. I wouldn't want to see my imperial uncle dash himself to pieces over a pearl. I will give it to you, but it's not that simple. This Eastern Pearl, you see, only 2 are produced every 40 years. When the time comes, I will certainly deliver it to Prince Su. My imperial uncle said he could wait. The courtiers recognized the blatant stalling tactic. It won't be that quick. Prince Su knew he'd been played, but he couldn't very well argue. This old minister will await it at my residence. I take my leave, but before leaving, Juju gave him a prophecy. Beware the beautiful concubine. She's not as innocent as she appears. Remember my words. Within 2 days, she will kill one of your sons. The old man didn't believe her, covering his ears and chanting, I can't hear you, la la la, reciting scriptures. A few days later, just as Juju had foretold, his son died. He wept, clutching the coffin, my son. A white-haired man burying his black-haired son. Why did you abandon your father? A woman stood behind him, watching it all unfold. First Prince, she said, if you hadn't discovered my plan to poison Prince Su, you might have lived a few days longer. It was the royal consort, Prince Su's concubine, a triumphant smile on her face. The heir to Prince Su should be the child in my womb. People rushed forward to support the reeling Prince Su. Wakeo, he moaned. Suddenly, he remembered Juju's words. Beware the beautiful concubine. Within 2 days, she will kill one of your sons. Now he believed her. Princess 18. I must find Princess 18. Meanwhile, Juju was playing happily in the palace, watching the fish with delight. The weather's getting colder, she mused. It's time to change your water. She played like a child, while Prince Su watched from afar, waiting for the right moment to rush forward. Guilt gnawed at him. Princess 18 warned me, but I didn't listen. Now my eldest son is dead. Juju noticed his presence and finally asked, Grandfather Su. The old man said nothing, running off like a startled rabbit. Juju shrugged. Oh well, what's the old man's hurry? I'm not going to eat him. As he ran, Prince Su thought, I was too harsh to Juju before, and I'm still too proud to admit it. It's too embarrassing to ask her now. But then he consoled himself. No, Juju's ramblings can't all be accurate. My son's death was just a coincidence. Nothing will happen to my other children. Juju murmured to herself, do I really seem that scary? Her mother, consortly, overheard and came to comfort her. My dear Juju, you're as pretty as a porcelain doll, so adorable. You're not scary at all. Juju looked up and asked, then why did Grandfather Su run away when he saw me? Consortly stammered nervously, digging herself deeper. That's because there was something urgent at Prince Su's residence. Someone picked Juju up from behind. The emperor continued. He had to leave the palace urgently to deal with it. It's a bit chilly today. Why are you dressed so lightly? The emperor reached out to Consortly. So cold, he said with concern. Don't catch a cold. Juju snuggled against her father. Oh, Tyrant Daddy is so warm. Worthy of being the emperor, so full of yang energy. She sniffed. Daddy, why do you smell so good? Juju wants to smell like that too. Hearing his daughter's request, the emperor immediately ordered, Fuin, take the aloes wood incense I used today to Bunny Palace for the princess. Fuin hesitated. Your Majesty, the aloes wood incense has always been exclusively for your Majesty, but today your Majesty wishes to bestow it upon the princess. Fuin suddenly grinned. The princess enjoying the emperor's treatment. This is a historical first. Seeing Fuin's silly grin, the emperor asked, what are you laughing at? Go tomorrow. Fuin replied, yes, your Majesty, I'll go right away. The emperor poked Juju. Juju, tell Daddy, what else do you want? Daddy can give you anything. Being poked, Juju replied, nothing right now. A mischievous thought crossed her mind, imagining her father doting on her endlessly during his vacation. She smiled wickedly. Sooner or later, Daddy will have to pay up. Today's Juju is the coolest, wearing sunglasses, loved by everyone. Elsewhere, noble consort Yang fumed. That little brat, I really don't understand why she's so favored. What's so special about her? Noble consort Cheng, beside her, speculated, could it be because she looks so cute and adorable? Noble consort Yang scoffed. How ridiculous. His Majesty is wise and valiant. How could he be so shallow? Consort Chung suggested. Noble Consort Jiang is the late emperor's adopted daughter. She has a daughter, Princess Anil, who is 3 years old this year. I hear she's even prettier than Jewer. Why not summon her to the palace? One dared to speak, the other dared to act. Noble Consort Jiang readily agreed. A splendid idea. His Majesty will surely dote on Princess Anil. Then that consort Li will be relegated to the cold palace. Meanwhile, young Princess Jur, flipping through the pages of a book, her mind elsewhere, thought, didn't father say he would come read to me after finishing his memorials? Where is he? After a while, she closed the book and asked her mother, Mother, is father not coming today? Seeing her daughter's disappointment, Consort Li comforted her. He will come. Your father never breaks his promises. He must be delayed by something. Hearing this, Juder brightened. If father is late, I'll ask him to tell me 2 stories. Suddenly, a palace maid arrived. Princess 18, His Majesty requests your presence in the Imperial Garden. Speak of the devil, Jewer thought. I wonder if father has prepared a surprise for me. She took her mother's hand and skipped towards the Imperial Garden. Catching sight of the emperor, she cheered, Father's over there. But the emperor didn't look happy. He seemed troubled. Unconcerned, Jewer said to her mother, Let's go over there. A flicker of unease crossed Consort Li's face. Jewer, wait. As if to confirm her apprehension, a hand barred their way, and a voice rang out, Stop. You can watch from here. There's no need to come closer. Noble Consort Yong stood there, radiating arrogance. Where did she get her confidence? Consort Li, Jewer, do you know why I summoned you? Understanding dawned on Consort Li. So is you who called for us. Noble Consort Yong sneered, indeed. Don't think you're so special, just because Jewer has His Majesty's favor. It's nothing more than a cute face. Princess Anil is far more beautiful than Jewer. She stepped closer, pressing her attack. Consort Li, how long do you think this favor will last? Not yet satisfied, she twisted the knife. And that effeminate, good-for-nothing son of yours, do you think His Majesty truly likes him? Consort Li wavered. The emperor's favor is as fickle as the wind and rain. She looked down at Jewer. If His Majesty stops favoring us, we'll be sent to the cold palace. Jewer is still so young. Must she spend the rest of her life there? Seeing her mother's distress, Jewer seethed. How dare she threaten my mother? She retorted, Don't worry, mother. Jewer won't lose favor. Inwardly, she fumed. Noble Consort Yong is truly audacious, letting just anyone into the palace. That Princess Anil is Princess Ting's daughter. Before father ascended the throne, Princess Ting, relying on imperial grandfather's favor, schemed against him countless times. That old man sparing her life was a mercy, and now she dares to parade her daughter in front of father. Noble Consort Yong, just you wait. Noticing Jewer's intense stare, Noble Consort Yong flew into a rage. What are you looking at? Someone take this. Before she could finish, she was interrupted. The 10th prince and 11th prince arrived, ready to show her the consequences of offending the wrong people. The 10th prince spoke first. Watch your words. The 11th prince echoed, Is Noble Consort Yong still asleep? How could she speak like this? Noble Consort Yong shrieked, How dare you two speak to me like that? Once Anil gains favor, you're finished. Don't think your closeness to the crown prince will protect you. The emperor's voice boomed, filled with fury. Get out of my sight. I don't want to see any of you. Oblivious to the escalating tension, Princess Anil continued her self-absorbed prattle, belittling Jewer. Jewer is ugly, nowhere near as pretty as me. Uncle Emperor should favor me, not that ugly Jewer. The emperor, his patience worn thin, commanded Fuan, 50 lashes for Princess Anil. Fuan replied, Yes, your majesty. The young princess, finally realizing the gravity of her actions, fell to her knees, her defiance still present. Juju, she cried, you can't do this to me. The emperor gritted his teeth. Before my ascension, Princess Ting tormented me relentlessly. She is the person I detest most in this life. Now, I want to see who was blind enough to bring her daughter here. He continued, Fuan, investigate who brought Anil into the palace. No need to investigate, your majesty, Fuan replied. It was Noble Consort Yong. She said she brought her to tell stories. The emperor's fury intensified. Tell stories. Tell me stories. Such insidious cunning. Just as Juju had foreseen, Noble Consort Yang's fate was sealed. The emperor decreed, strip Noble Consort Yang of her rank, confine her to the cold palace, never to emerge. Turning, he saw his daughter and called out, Juju. Hearing her father's call, Juju ran to him. The emperor's face softened into a smile. Looking for your father. She embraced him, feigning a slight reproach. Father didn't come to see Juju. Juju missed you so much. The emperor beamed at his beloved daughter's words. Juju's little mouth is so sweet. Guards dragged away Yangshi, now demoted and referred to by her common name. Yangshi, come with us. The cold palace is this way. She shrieked, Your Majesty, what crime have I committed to deserve this? Your Majesty, I've been wronged. The emperor turned away in disgust. Fool, take her away. He turned back to his cherished daughter. Juju, were you frightened? Truthfully, she had rather enjoyed the spectacle. With father here, Juju is afraid of nothing. She added with a dramatic sigh. Juju fears neither heaven nor earth. But mother has always been easily frightened, and she was scared just now. Unfortunately, her oblivious father missed the subtle cue. Hearing her inner thoughts, however, the emperor panicked. He scooped Juju into his arms and hurried to consort Li's side, gently taking her arm and comforting her. Jiangshi told you I favored Princess Anil and neglected you and Juju. You must have been terrified. I will always protect you both. Juju was delighted. Ah, my tyrant father is amazing. He actually noticed mother's unease today. Father's halo must be shining 38 meters today. Noble consort Chung, who had been observing the scene, cursed inwardly. That idiotic Jiang Guifei, all brawn and no brains. But as she looked at consort Li, a calculating glint entered her eyes. Don't be too smug. She glared at the beautiful consort Li. Just you wait. The emperor, sitting on the bed beside Juju, said, Father can't tell you a story tonight. As punishment, I will read you stories for a whole month. How about that? The offer was too tempting to refuse. Okay, she agreed. Suddenly, someone rushed in, panicked. Your Majesty, Princess. It's terrible. A cry for help echoed from outside. Help! Someone please help. And Chun, standing nearby, snapped irritably, What's all this shouting? Have you no manners? What if you frighten His Majesty and the princess? Prince Su's third son followed anxiously behind his father, who was being carried in. Your Majesty, I have a request. Please save my father. The emperor patted Juju's head. I'll go see what's happened. Juju, stay here and be good. The emperor went out and saw the kneeling figure. Prince Su, what is the matter? Prince Su's son, supporting his father, reported, Your Majesty, half an hour ago my second elder brother suddenly died. Father couldn't bear the blow and fainted. Before he lost consciousness, he kept calling for Princess 18. I brought him here. Please forgive my transgression, Your Majesty. By the time the emperor turned back, Prince Su had regained consciousness. His third son cried, Father, you're awake. He groaned in response. The old prince immediately knelt and pleaded, Your Majesty, save me. Please let me see Princess Juju. I have something important to ask her. The emperor was momentarily perplexed. Has my uncle heard Juju's inner voice too? The emperor laid out his condition. Uncle, as long as you swear not to tell anyone about Juju's abilities, I will protect your sons. Understanding dawned on the old prince. Can your Majesty also hear Juju's thoughts? Without hesitation, he agreed. I swear to your Majesty. The agreement struck. The emperor commanded, When you return, deal with that concubine of yours. Your sons will be safe. However, she wields considerable power and wealth. The guards in your residence are under her control. This won't be easy. The old prince listened intently, his fists clenched. But I can send the imperial guards to protect you. The old prince sighed bitterly. I understand. It's all my fault. I should have listened to Juju earlier. In the following days, the old prince constantly sought out Juju. Juju, my third son coughed until he fainted. What should I do? Does he think I'm a deity? Go find a physician. What good is telling me? Besides, fainting from coughing isn't fatal. The next day, he returned. Juju, my fourth son, nearly died in a fight. Will he die? Is this some kind of joke? When did I become an expert? If he can't fight, he should train harder. Telling me is useless. I can't fight for him. On the third day, he persisted. Juju, my fifth son, was beaten by his wife. How many children does he have? Juju covered her ears and ran off. Old man, go back and discipline your sons. Stop complaining to me. She ran to where the emperor and her mother, Consort Li, were talking. Juju's birthday banquet cannot be a small affair. Consort Li replied, I understand, Your Majesty. She threw herself into her adoptive father's arms, feigning distress. What's wrong, Juju? Who bullied you? Tell father. She thought with vexation, tears welling up. Can someone please deal with that old prince? I don't want to hear about his family's troubles every day, and I certainly don't want to know how many children his sons and their concubines have. The emperor soothed her. Juju, you always play with Prince Su and never with father. I should forbid him from entering the palace to see you. Hearing this, her eyes lit up as if she'd won the lottery. Really, the emperor told her gently Juju, for your birthday, I'm preparing a grand banquet. Her eyes sparkled. So everyone will come to the palace to celebrate with Juju. Looking at his daughter's expression, how could he bear to lie? Of course, but she had a plan of her own. Father has been wanting elder brother, the crown prince, to choose a consort, but the choices haven't been good. If everyone comes to the palace, then Yuan, elder brother's destined partner, will appear. I hope father will grant Yuan and elder brother a marriage. She's the best for him, the most loyal. In the book, she even dies for him. So pitiful. Lost in her thoughts, she didn't notice her father wondering who Yuan was. He handed her a pastry, saying, "Leave the birthday arrangements to the crown prince." She happily accepted the pastry, thinking, I wonder what gifts everyone will bring. Juju isn't picky. Anything will do. For a foodie like her, food was the main attraction. Fill my belly first. The best gifts are the snacks from outside the palace. I never had anything good in my past life. Hearing his daughter's thoughts, the emperor's heart ached. What kind of life did my little one live before? She didn't even have good food. Moved by his own thoughts, the emperor snatched the pastry back. What kind of pathetic pastry is this? How can the imperial kitchen not even make a decent pastry? Juju, what do you want to eat? I'll have the imperial kitchen learn to make it. Someone's being a bit dramatic, she thought. The emperor suggested a few snacks. I hear there are many delicious snacks on the streets. How about candied hawthorns, pear blossom pastries, malt sugar, candied haws? To a snack enthusiast, this was heaven. Wow, Juju wants to eat them all. Her mother, beside her, chuckled. Your Majesty, don't spoil Juju too much. The emperor declared magnanimously, Juju is my daughter. If I don't spoil her, who will? Fuan, go tell the imperial kitchen to prepare these. Basking in the love of my tyrant father, she thought contentedly. She snuggled against her father, kissing his cheek. Thank you, father. A few days later, Juju's birthday banquet arrived. Her mother was helping her get ready from head to toe. The final touch, applying makeup, would complete the transformation. Her mother called to her, Juju, little princess. Time to wake up for your birthday banquet. Lost in a sweet dream, the little girl mumbled and rubbed her eyes. Her hand groped for the mirror. Looking up, she gasped. Wow, whose beautiful child is this? She touched her face. Who's this little fairy in the mirror? How can she be so pretty? She exclaimed excitedly. So cute as a child. I wonder how beautiful I'll be when I grow up. She made a face, then declared, even making faces, I'm still this cute. Her mother, watching her antics, laughed. Little fairy, the banquet is about to begin. Everyone is waiting for you. Hugging her mother, she noticed, Mother is especially beautiful today, too, just like a great fairy. She sighed, it's no wonder, since half of her beauty was inherited from her mother. As her mother led her to the banquet, she thought, not everyone has arrived yet. Looking up at her mother, she decided, I can't let my beautiful mother wait like this. I have to hide her away first and surprise everyone later. So she said, Mother, the banquet hasn't started yet. Why don't you go to the side hall and have some tea? Consortly considered for a moment. I'm a little thirsty. Not waiting for her mother's agreement, Juju urged, it's all right, I'll go find my brothers. Because it was her birthday, no one wanted to restrict her, only reminding her, don't run around too much. Juju had other plans. She searched around. Where are Yuan, an older sister? She continued her search, undeterred. Could they be outside? I'll go and see. As she walked, something caught her attention. A shrill voice pierced the air. You ugly thing. Who do you think you are, daring to look at this princess? Why aren't you kneeling? She witnessed a princess bullying someone. You lowly wretch. I'll trample you to death. Feng Kaiwei was stepping on Nan Yuan Xiangxiang, Juju's cousin, and continued to yell, Xiaohong Xiaoyu, come here and help this princess beat her to death. Juju suddenly rushed forward. Stop! The surrounding maids were startled. Why did the princess suddenly run so fast? Looking at Nan Yuan Shuang, she thought, that's Nan Yuan Shuang, my mother's younger sister's daughter. She's my cousin. She hurried over. How dare you bully my cousin right under my nose? Feng Kaiwei, you've gone too far. So what if Nan Yuan Xiangxiang has a birthmark on her face? It will fade eventually. She's very good at business, and she'll definitely become the richest merchant in the future. She stepped forward protectively. Xiangxiang, sister, don't be afraid. I'll protect you. Feng Kaiwei was surprised by this unexpected arrival. Princess 18. Juju confronted her directly. You dare bully my cousin. Feng Kaiwei sneered. Your cousin. She burst out laughing. She's just a pitiful wretch. Her mother is weak, and her father ignores her. Princess 18, what nonsense are you talking about? Furious and determined to rescue her cousin, Juju retorted, do you think I'm joking? She continued, I may be young, but I'm not stupid. I can recognize my own relatives. Her eyes blazed with anger as she stood protectively. If you continue to bully my cousin, you'll regret it. Feng Kaiwei recoiled slightly, but still scoffed, really. Empty words. Juju radiated a threatening aura. Apologize to my cousin. As if insulted, Feng Kaiwei refused. She started it. Why should I apologize? Nan Yuan Xiangxiang, frozen in fear, quickly interjected, Princess 18, I didn't. Seeing her cousin's worry, Juju reassured her, I know. She addressed Feng Kaiwei firmly and directly. Feng Kaiwei, if you don't apologize, I'll tell my father to kick you out of the palace. The hot-headed Feng Kaiwei remained defiant. I won't apologize. What can you do to me? Feng Kaiwei's reckoning had arrived. Juju commanded guards. A group of guards instantly appeared, awaiting her orders. Pointing at Feng Kaiwei, Juju declared, Feng Kaiwei attacked my cousin without provocation. Her behavior is atrocious. Her voice resonated with authority. Have her expelled from the palace immediately. Yes, Princess, the guard chorused. Only then did a flicker of fear cross Feng Kaiwei's face. How dare you? She shrieked. My father won't let you get away with this. But Juju ignored her outburst, turning to her cousin with concern. Cousin, are you all right? I'll have the imperial physician attend to you at once. Nan Yuan Xiangxiang finally managed a small smile. Thank you, Juju. At Juju's birthday banquet, the guests appear to have all arrived. The emperor commanded, Fuan, go and find consort Li and Juju. Fuan replied, yes, your majesty. The empress dowager praised, your majesty. Today's banquet is quite lively. Just then, a voice called out, imperial brother, mother. Prince Duan Kong and his wife knelt, pleading, please grant us justice. The Empress Dowager, unaware of the situation, inquired, what is the meaning of this? Prince Duan Kong spoke with indignation. Your Majesty, Empress Dowager, I ask you, if someone were to forcibly expel my daughter from the palace, what would be the appropriate punishment? The emperor's brow furrowed. On such a joyous occasion, who would dare such impudence? Speak plainly, and I shall see that justice is served. Prince Duan Kong lowered his head. But what if this person is not an ordinary individual, but someone of noble rank, deeply favored by your Majesty and the Empress Dowager? Would your Majesty still administer punishment? The emperor responded calmly. Even the Son of Heaven is bound by the law. Speak freely, Prince Duan Kong. I will handle this matter impartially. The Empress Dowager echoed his sentiment. This empress will also see that you receive justice. Speak quickly, Prince Duan Kong. This was the moment Prince Duan Kong had been waiting for. He laid out his grievance. Your Majesty, Empress Dowager, only with your support do I dare to speak. Princess Juju, the 18th princess, relying on your Majesty's favor, acts with utter disregard for others. It was the princess who expelled my daughter, Feng Kaiwei, from the palace. I beseech your Majesty to grant me justice. Pressing his advantage, Prince Duan Kong continued, Your Majesty just stated that even the Son of Heaven is bound by the law. The 18th princess expelled my daughter simply because she disliked her. This is truly lawless. The emperor realized he had been cornered, a flicker of embarrassment crossing his face. So after all this, it's about Juju. The emperor was no fool. Simply because of dislike, she expelled her from the palace. Prince Duan Kong hesitated slightly. Your Majesty, even if the princess is favored, she cannot act with such disregard for others. Murmurs rippled through the assembled guests. Indeed, how could she show such disrespect to the imperial uncle, expelling his daughter from the palace? It's outrageous. Seeing the reaction of the crowd, Prince Duan Kong pressed further. The esteemed ministers speak truly. Your Majesty, please punish the princess to set an example. The emperor, his patience finally wearing thin, erupted. Punish, punish. All you speak of is punishment. Have you even bothered to inquire into the circumstances? Prince Duan Kong, though slightly intimidated, held his ground. Your Majesty, are you intending to show favoritism towards Juju? The emperor roared, do I not even know the nature of my own daughter? Juju is not such a person. Someone, summon the princess. This matter must be clarified. I will not simply listen to Prince Duan Kang's side of the story. Just then, someone entered and whispers spread through the crowd. Isn't that Nan Yuan Xiangxiang, the unfavored young miss of the Nan family? She was bullied today. Juju, with Nan Yuan Xiangxiang at her side, walked through the murmuring crowd. The attacker was ruthless. Her leg is injured. She's limping. Nan Yuan Xiangxiang is still so young. How cruel. Nan Yuan Xiangxiang bowed. Your Majesty. Zhu spoke directly. Father, I heard you were looking for me. Prince Duan Kong interjected pointedly. Your Majesty, the princess has arrived. Please, punish her severely. Like father, like daughter. Neither has learned their lesson. The emperor addressed Zhu. Zhu, your uncle Duan Kong claims you expelled Feng Kaiwei from the palace without cause. Is this true? Zhu fumed inwardly. This Prince Duan Kong. It was he who expelled his own daughter from his household without cause. Feng Kaiwei brought this upon herself. The emperor gave Zhu a chance to speak. Tell your father, he said, if you have any grievances, I will surely see justice done for you. Hearing this, Zhu explained without hesitation. Father, Feng Kaiwei and her maid hurt my little cousin for no reason, injuring her like this. I asked her to apologize to my cousin, but she wouldn't admit her mistake and even tried to twist the truth. In anger, I expelled her. The imperial physician immediately spoke up. Your Majesty, he announced, young Miss Nan's injuries are severe. They've reached the bone. If not for the 18th princess's timely intervention, she might have been left with a permanent disability. The emperor declared, Prince Deyong, what more do you have to say? Feng Kaiwei resorted to violence. A child's misbehavior is the fault of the parents. Prince Deyong, your stipend is suspended for 1 year. Go back and reflect on your actions. Your family is excused from the banquet. Zhu was quite pleased with her father's handling of the situation. Father's judgment is exactly to my liking, she thought, truly majestic. Now I can spend every day with my little cousin. I'm going to make a fortune with cousin Nan Yuan Xiangxiang. Nan Yuan Xiangxiang. Hearing Zhu's thoughts, happily mused, I definitely won't disappoint Zhu. We'll make a fortune together. Zhu's banquet commenced. The eunuch announced, the 18th princess's birthday banquet has begun. Please present your gifts. Zhu, looking at the mountain of gifts before her, was overjoyed. Wow, so many treasures. She thought, who sent this one? There's a gold ring and a gold necklace. So precious. And over here, a pearl bracelet. The color is so beautiful. And what's this? It looks very expensive. As she gleefully unwrapped her gifts, the emperor approached and asked, Child, where is your mother? Her hands, busy unwrapping presents, suddenly froze. Oh dear, she thought, I completely forgot about mother. Just at that moment, Consort Li appeared. As expected, the crowd began to murmur, Consort Li has arrived, worthy indeed of being the 18th princess's mother. The emperor immediately went to Consort Li upon seeing her. Consort Li, he said, why are you so late? I have good news to tell you. Consort Li wore a surprised expression. Good news, she asked. Meanwhile, Zhu thought to herself, that's my mother. So beautiful. The emperor shared the good news. The charges against your family for treason and collusion with the enemy have been cleared. I've sent someone to bring them back from the border. Your father and brother's official positions will be restored. Your family will be reunited soon. This was indeed good news. Consort Li was so moved she could hardly believe it. Truly, she asked. Zhu went over to her mother. Mother, she said, this is wonderful news. You should be happy. Consort Li embraced her joyfully. Yes, she replied, this is a day worth celebrating. Next came the tasting ceremony. Both the emperor and Consort Li attentively cared for her. Eat slowly, it's all right. Zhu is still young, they said. Zhu was eating a piece of meat when she suddenly heard whispers coming from the crown prince's side, snippets of you family, Yuan Yin, and climbing a tree. She put down the meat, suddenly remembering. I recall at the banquet, Yuan Yin, disregarding her status as a noble lady, climbed a tree and was falsely accused of being a peeping Tom, incurring the crown prince's displeasure. Actually, she was only helping a baby bird back to its nest. Someone deliberately framed her. Yuan Yin loved the crown prince until her death. Zhu decided to help her, so she ran after the crown prince. Elder brother, she called. Zhu wants to go too. The crown prince had no reason to refuse. All right, he said. When they arrived, everyone's gaze was fixed on a young woman climbing a tree. Yuan Yin, they murmured. She gently placed the baby bird back in its nest. Don't be afraid, little bird, she whispered. Zhu and the crown prince witnessed this scene. It seemed the crown prince was about to fall in love. He was watching intently when a voice came from behind him. Your Highness, it said, you finally arrived. It was Nan Baolin, Prince Nan's older sister. She continued, this servant has been waiting here. I asked your Highness to come because Yuan Yin was peeping at men. It's truly a disgrace to our family. Hearing the crown prince mentioned, Yuan Yin suddenly panicked. Unfortunately for elder brother crown prince, Zhu thought she slipped in her haste. But the crown prince reacted quickly and caught her just in time. Thank goodness he did. Otherwise, this romantic moment would have turned into a farce. Juju, witnessing this scene, was thrilled. Her inner fangirl ignited. I ship this couple, she squealed internally. Yuan Yin immediately stammered. Thank you, Your Highness, for saving me. The Crown Prince calmly replied, it was nothing. I'm glad Miss Yu is unharmed. May I ask why you were climbing so high? Before Yuan Yin could explain, Nan Balin interjected from behind. Clearly, it's because she's shameless and was peeking at the men. Everyone here saw it. Your Highness must punish her severely. She moved closer to the Crown Prince and continued, Elder Brother Crown Prince, this is a serious matter. Did you hear what Miss Huang said? Juju prayed silently. Please, Elder Brother Crown Prince, don't be fooled by that wicked woman and misunderstand Miss Yu. Aware of Juju's thoughts from her expression, the Crown Prince patted her head. Juju is right. I want to hear Miss Yu's explanation. Relieved, Juju thought, wonderful. As long as Elder Brother Crown Prince is willing to listen, he can definitely change their tragic ending. Meanwhile, Yuan Yin was still stammering, unsure what to say. Your Highness, Yuan Yan's mind was a whirl of confusion. Why do I always become tongue-tied whenever I encounter the Crown Prince? If I can't explain myself properly, will he be disgusted with me? Juju, on the side, enthusiastically shipped the couple. Miss Yu is just clumsy in front of the person she likes, Elder Brother Crown Prince. Don't believe that woman's lies. The Crown Prince silently thanked Juju. Thankfully, I can hear Juju's thoughts. Otherwise, I would have definitely misunderstood. He turned to Yuan Yin, who was still frozen in place. I've heard she's eloquent, but she's so shy and reserved in front of me. How adorable, the Crown Prince thought. Aloud, he said, Miss Yu, don't worry. As long as you explain clearly, I will believe you. Huan Yin was somewhat surprised. Your Highness, if you think you found the right CP, you'll find this scene super cute. Inwardly, Juju squealed, oh my gosh, they're so perfect for each other. At this moment, Yuan Yin finally explained, I climbed the tree because I saw a little bird fall out of its nest just now. I climbed up to help the bird back to its nest. The Crown Prince replied, I see. It seems Miss Yu is a kind person. Nan Balin interjected again. Everyone saw you climbing the tree and peeking. What proof do you have for your words? Juju, happily immersed in her matchmaking, was interrupted and felt extremely annoyed. This woman just won't give up. She immediately rushed forward to defend Yuan Yin. I saw it. I saw Miss Yu holding an injured little bird in her hands. Seeing Juju step forward, Nan Balin wavered slightly, but still stubbornly argued. The tree is so tall, and the branches and leaves are so dense. Who could see clearly? The Crown Prince snapped. Silence. Juju said she saw it. Are you questioning the imperial family? He immediately ordered the guards. The eldest daughter of the Nan household has spread rumors and slandered the imperial family. 50 lashes. Nan Balin panicked. I didn't mean it that way, Your Highness. I was wrong. Seeing that the matter was resolved, Juju said to the Crown Prince, Elder Brother Crown Prince, I like Miss Yu. Can I play with Miss Yu for a while longer? Of course, she was also thinking, I still want to watch them together. I want to see some sweet moments. Seeing her suggestion, how could the Crown Prince refuse? Of course. However, the Crown Prince didn't understand the slang she was thinking. Juju wants to eat sweets. It seems I'll have to bring some candy for Juju in the future. He then turned to Yuan Yin. Miss Yu, would you be willing to return to the banquet hall with us? Looking at Yuan Yan's expression, a distinct hint of a smile flickered in her eyes. I'm deeply honored, Your Highness. This is truly a privilege. Nan Balin thought to herself, a smug smile playing on her lips. It seems my matchmaking efforts have borne fruit. Yes, she silently cheered her own success. The Crown Prince then escorted me back to the banquet. Yuan Yin mused, a touch of wistful disappointment coloring her thoughts. I hadn't gotten a good look at her before, but up close, Princess Juju is truly beautiful. A wave of admiration washed over her. She's been practicing martial arts since childhood, so vibrant and open, yet she only shows this girlish side around her brother, the Crown Prince. Juju waved at Yuan Yin. Even more adorable now, she thought. I just want to pinch her cheeks. Juju reached out her hand, then abruptly stopped, realizing she could only entertain the thought. Oh dear, she lamented internally. My arms are too short. Yuan Yin finally noticed her gesture. Princess, she inquired, a puzzled expression on her face. What is it? She likely assumed it's the princess's birthday. She must want a gift. With this thought, Yuan Yin removed a hairpin from her hair and approached Juju, offering it to her. Your Highness, she said respectfully, I haven't yet offered my birthday wishes. Please accept this. There are more gifts to come. Back in the main hall, Juju felt utterly miserable, unsure of what to say. This beautiful woman had mistaken her for a greedy little princess. How could she explain that she simply wanted to touch her face without seeming impertinent? The crown prince, wanting to comfort her, but unsure how, stood awkwardly by. Juju, too embarrassed to speak, remained silent. I'll handle this, the crown prince thought, a bold idea striking him. He walked towards Yuan Yen. He leaned in and whispered, I want to touch your face. Who put those words in his mouth? Such a casual remark sent a blush creeping up the poor girl's cheeks. Your Highness wants to touch my face. Yuan Yin stammered, flustered. Your Highness wants to touch my face. That's perhaps not appropriate. Realizing his blunder, the crown prince quickly corrected himself. It's Juju. Juju wants to touch your face. An awkward silence hung between them before Yuan Yin finally spoke. I apologize for the misunderstanding. The banquet hall is open now. My father awaits inside. I'll go in first. With that, she practically flew away before the crown prince could utter another word. Miss you. Juju tugged at his sleeve. Brother, what did you say to miss you? You scared her away. The crown prince was speechless. I didn't say anything. I just said I wanted to touch her face, and she ran off. Juju felt as if she'd been struck by lightning. Does she dislike me that much? She ran away just because I wanted to touch her face. Another dreadful misunderstanding. Tears welled up in her eyes. Am I truly that unpleasant, that repulsive? The crown prince tried to console her. Juju, don't be upset. It's all a misunderstanding. But Juju wasn't listening. She burst into tears, leaving the crown prince utterly bewildered and at a loss for what to do. It's all my fault. Juju, please don't cry. Let me explain. By now, Juju was sobbing uncontrollably when suddenly someone scooped her up into their arms. The emperor, his voice laced with displeasure, addressed the crown prince. What is the meaning of this? The crown prince immediately apologized. Father, I failed to look after Juju properly and caused her cry. I know I'm at fault. The emperor seemed unwilling to hear any explanation. Knowing your fault is useless. Reflect on your actions today and consider how you will make amends. The crown prince replied, Yes, father. Back at the banquet, the Empress Dowager asked Juju, Why were you crying, child? Tears welled up in Juju's eyes again. I don't want to cry anymore, but I don't know why I can't stop. She buried her face in the Empress Dowager's embrace. Witnessing this scene, the emperor's heart softened. It seems even with memories of a past life, Juju is still just a child. Thinking this, the emperor picked up a drumstick and offered it to her. Juju, you've been crying for so long. You must be hungry. Eat this drumstick, fill your belly, and then you can cry some more. Neither Consort Li nor Juju expected this method of consolation. As always, whatever the emperor said was right. Juju munched on snacks, her thoughts swirling around her tyrannical father's unexpected actions. The urge to cry dissipated, replaced by a sudden appetite. Juju, the emperor inquired, You stopped crying. Can you tell your father why you were upset? Did your elder brother, Crown Prince, do something wrong? She shook her head. It has nothing to do with elder brother, Crown Prince. Covering her mouth with her hand, she mumbled, I can't say. It's too embarrassing. The emperor began, It's all right, tell your father. I won't be angry. But before he could finish, she darted away. It's really nothing. Juju is full. I'm going to play now. She had a plan. Winning Yuan Yan's affection required more than just the emperor's authority. Overhearing his daughter's thoughts, the emperor was speechless. How am I supposed to sleep tonight with her like this? He wondered. Juju didn't linger at the banquet, skipping off to put her plan into action. As she walked, she spotted her target. Found sister, she whispered to herself. I must seize this opportunity to spend time with her and build a connection. Moving forward, she bumped into someone. Ouch! The person exclaimed. So you're the one who dressed up as the 18th prince. It was the first prince. He continued, Elder brother is asking you a question. Why aren't you answering? Rubbing her head, she asked, Elder brother, are you the first prince who's always away at war? She bowed. Greetings, elder brother first prince. Inwardly, she thought, the first prince's fate is tragic. 10 years from now, Shishu will fall, and he will be beheaded on the battlefield. The first prince stared, taken aback, though her reaction wasn't entirely unusual. Where did that voice come from? He looked down at the dazed Juju. According to that, those are your thoughts. You dare say Shishu will fall and I'll be beheaded. The first prince roared. What nonsense are you spouting? Startled by his outburst, she stammered. Juju was just offering a greeting. Did I say something wrong? Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Why is the first prince suddenly so furious? It seems the princess was just being polite. Is this necessary? He stormed off. Forget it. I won't lower myself to a child's level. Juju rolled her eyes. He's the one being unreasonable. So petty. I was going to warn him to be careful today, or he'd chip his teeth, but seeing as he's like this, he wouldn't believe me anyway, and he might even bully me. Juju doesn't care. Overhearing this, the first prince's expression shifted slightly. What did she just say? How infuriating. I've trained in martial arts for so many years. How could I possibly trip on flat ground? Speak of the devil. He stumbled, falling flat on his face in front of everyone. Gasps and whispers erupted around him. Oh great, the crown prince and the emperor are walking this way. This is just my luck. The emperor asked what happened here. The crown prince mumbled, Father. More whispers arose. Did the crown prince chip his teeth? Then it struck him. Isn't that what that little girl said? His world crumbled. He was utterly humiliated in front of his father and everyone else. The crown prince is going to be ostracized now. I'm sure of it. I actually feel a little sorry for him. He looks so pathetic. He's accomplished so much on the battlefield. It wouldn't be right if father blamed him for this. So, he rushed over and tugged on the emperor's sleeve. Father, the banquet attire is so thick and long. Elder brother is always fighting wars and isn't used to wearing such long robes. That's why he fell. Don't blame him. His attitude had done a complete 180. The emperor's expression softened. Juju is so clever. You make a good point. Issue a decree. From now on, at court banquets, military officials are not required to wear long robes. Prepare a supplementary clause. The crown prince stared dumbfounded. He's actually speaking up for me. The emperor turned to him. Your mother is a skilled physician. Have her examine you. I will visit you both after the banquet. The crown prince replied, a little awkwardly. Thank you for your concern, father. I will take my leave. Surprise after surprise. The emperor wasn't even angry. He was more concerned with playing with Juju. Juju and I are going back to rest. No, Juju hasn't finished playing yet. The crown prince looks at me differently now. I treated him so poorly before, yet he still spoke up for me in front of father. I feel so ashamed. Seeing me happily skipping around felt like a slap in the face. This little guy, my little brother, he looks even cuter than a little girl. This gave me the perfect opportunity to run over to Yuan Yin. Sister, may I sit next to you? How could she refuse? Of course, princess. Please sit. Yuan Yin asked, is your highness hungry? The banquet will continue for a while longer. Would you like some snacks? I replied, Juju isn't hungry. I rubbed my belly, thinking, I just ate a whole chicken leg. I'm already full. A child's body is so inconvenient. Yuan Yin changed the subject. Then let's watch the dance performance. I added, the dancers today were sent from the Southern Kingdom. They're quite rare. I asked curiously, sent from the Southern Kingdom. Yuan Yin seemed to be recalling something. Yes, the Southern Kingdom tried to frame us before, but failed. They couldn't afford reparations, so they sent these dancers. I heard they also sent a hostage, a boy of 8 or 9. How pitiful. I latched on the most crucial piece of information, the hostage from the Southern Kingdom. Isn't that the male lead who later becomes the emperor and personally conquers the Western Shu? I panicked. If he's here, does that mean everything's going wrong? Juju thought, I've come to this place, gained a loving family, and developed feelings for them. For their sake, I can't just stand by and watch the kingdom fall. With this thought, the little girl looked up and asked Yuan Yin, Sister Yuan Yin, do you know where that hostage will be taken? She paused for a moment before answering, I'm not entirely sure. I only heard that His Majesty arranged it personally. If your highness is curious, you can ask His Majesty after the banquet. For now, please enjoy your birthday celebration. Juju racked her brains, tugging at her hair. I can't let everyone down after all the preparations they've made, but I'm so worried. Finally, when the banquet ended, she hurried to find the emperor. The banquet is finally over. I have to find father quickly. She ran to the emperor and called out cheerfully, Father. The emperor asked in surprise, Juju, what brings you here? He then picked her up and said softly, Juju, you came just in time. Come with father to see your elder brother. Inwardly, he thought, that boy shouldn't be seriously injured. This is a good opportunity to spend more time with my Juju. The emperor carried Juju to the crown prince's palace. The crown prince and his mother, consort who, a skilled physician, immediately bowed respectfully. Your Majesty, father. Juju happily jumped down and ran to the crown prince's side. Elder brother, are you all right? The emperor was dumbfounded. His precious daughter had abandoned him so quickly. He clenched his fists in annoyance. What's so good about that boy that Juju cares so much for him? The crown prince wiped his sweat, avoiding her gaze, and asked cautiously, why are you here? He felt ashamed. I treated her that way, and she still cares so much about me. I'm so ashamed to face her. Consort who cheerfully answered for her son, thank you for your concern, princess. The bleeding has stopped. Once we find a suitable material to replace the missing tooth, he'll be fine. Juju, covering her mouth with her hand, giggled. He'll be fine once he hears this. So, elder brother is putting on such a long face because he lost a tooth and doesn't dare show himself. How can a warrior be so concerned about this, as delicate as a princess? The crown prince, hearing this, flushed crimson and spun around, blurting out defensively, I'm fine. I don't care about losing a few teeth. Juju, startled by the crown prince's outburst, teared up. I understand, elder brother, she whimpered. Are you opening your mouth so wide to eat me? He quickly backpedaled. No, I didn't mean to frighten you. Suddenly, Juju was scooped up into someone's arms. It was the emperor who had lifted her. He feigned sternness. You're not a child anymore. You need to be more careful. Don't scare Juju. Since it's nothing serious, you should rest well. We'll be going now. The crown prince, not daring to disobey, immediately agreed. He thought to himself, I'll approach Juju again after my teeth are fixed. Only after leaving the crown prince's palace did Juju speak. Father, she said, I wasn't scared. Don't be distant with elder brother because of this. The emperor immediately reassured her. I was just giving him a little talking to. Juju doesn't need to worry. Juju thought, as long as elder brother isn't implicated, it's fine. The emperor, perceiving her thoughts, felt a pang of jealousy. What kind of spell has this elder brother cast on Juju? She's never been this concerned about me. Suddenly, Juju tugged on the emperor's sleeve and asked curiously, by the way, father, I heard that the southern kingdom sent a hostage. I want to know where he's being kept. The emperor questioned, why do you ask? Who knows what the southern kingdom is planning? It's safer for you to stay away from him. She smiled innocently. Then father should tell me where he is, so I know to avoid him. Inwardly, she thought, I can't keep hiding the truth about Shichu's downfall. The emperor was startled. He hadn't expected the hostage to be connected to the fall of Shichu. Although I wanted to ask Juju about this before, she was still young. There was still time. I wanted her to grow up without worries. But now it seems if this matter isn't resolved, Juju will continue to be concerned. Thinking this, he sighed, then decided to tell her. In Ziguang, the place between the former court and the inner palace. Juju replied politely, I understand. Thank you, father. Still uneasy, the emperor cautioned. You can go see that little fellow, but you must tell me. Let me accompany you, understand? Juju quickly reassured him. Don't worry, father. However, no sooner had she promised than she ran off to Ziguang as soon as she left the emperor. Arriving there, looking at the indicated location, she thought so. This is Ziguang, desolate and cold, just like the Eastern Palace. No wonder father was still worried before bed last night. The remote corners of the inner palace are indeed prone to incidents, but bringing father along will definitely alert them. I'll go investigate the situation myself first. After all, just how much grievance did the male lead, Ding Jun, suffer at the hands of the royal family to be so determined to seek revenge, leading to the downfall of Shichu? I can't see clearly from here. I need to get closer to confirm Ding Jun's living conditions. Juju immediately went around, but as soon as she reached the entrance, she was stopped by the guards. Ziguang is forbidden territory. Princess, please return. She immediately put on a cute, pleading expression. Father allowed me to come here. Can't I even enter? Looking at her pleading eyes, the guards couldn't resist and said respectfully, Princess, please enter. This servant will protect you at all times. But the princess didn't seem afraid of this so-called forbidden territory at all and replied cheerfully, no need. Juju Zhu thought to herself, the hostage is only 8 or 9 years old. He shouldn't be able to hurt me. Zhu lightly tiptoed to avoid making any noise. Suddenly, she spotted a figure peering curiously from behind a high wall. Her eyes widened in surprise. Zhu ran to Di Jiang, her voice filled with concern. Is it him, the main character? Why are you kneeling here? The kind-hearted young princess tried to help him up. Please, get up. You don't have to kneel. He coldly shook off her hand. Servants, noticing Zhu's presence, explained His Majesty ordered him to kneel here for a month. He's only been kneeling for half a day. Princess, you shouldn't interfere. Zhu asked, astonished. What? Why would father give such an order? The servant continued. His Majesty said the Southern Kingdom's schemes are treacherous and unpredictable. He needs to make an example, a warning to the Southern Kingdom. The young princess turned to look at Di Jiang, lost in thought. Kneeling like this, won't his legs break? He was only used as a shield by the Southern Kingdom. Why treat him like this? The books say Di Jiang's legs are weak. Every rainy day, the pain is unbearable. No wonder after Shi Chu fell, Di Jiang crippled every member of the royal family. After a long moment of contemplation, the young princess blurted out, since it's father's order, I really can't let him get up right now. The servant agreed. The princess is right. It's best you stay away from him. Zhu placed her hand on Di Jiang's cold hand, as if trying to offer him some warmth. It's all right, she said. I'll go find father now. I'll ask him to retract his punishment. Then she hurried away, calling back as she left, wait for me. I'll definitely be back. Di Jiang watched her retreating figure, his expression complex. The hand she had touched clenched into a fist. He slowly opened his palm, staring at it thoughtfully. You've been tricked. What are you still hoping for? No one truly wants to help you. She just used this as an excuse to leave. Di Jiang's mood darkened after Zhu's departure. Only one phrase echoed in his mind. Don't get your hopes up. The scene shifted to inside the palace. Zhu rushed in, calling out, Father. The emperor, surprised by her sudden appearance, asked, My precious Zhu, what brings you here? Did you miss your father? The emperor pinched her cheek, continuing, My dear daughter, why are you so tired and dirty? Are you hurt? Did someone bully you? Tell father, and I'll get justice for you. Zhu, her cheeks pinched until she almost cried, stammered no. Then, looking directly into the emperor's eyes, she said earnestly, Father, I heard you ordered the hostage to kneel for a month. Before Zhu could finish, the emperor interrupted angrily. What? You went to the hostage's quarters alone. Why didn't you tell me? Did that hostage harm you? She quickly explained, Zhu is really fine. It's a hostage. Zhu hopes father will stop making him kneel. The emperor insisted. Why? The Southern Kingdom plotted against us. Now they're reaping what they sowed. If I don't assert my authority before them, they'll look down on our Shishu even more in the future. Zhu sadly lowered her head, but she didn't say anything more, only thinking to herself, but doing this will make Di Jiang resentful. He'll retaliate 100-fold in the future. He's the child of destiny, destined to unify the land and personally destroy the royal family. By then, it will be too late. The emperor, seeing through her thoughts, mused, I heard before that the fall of Shunsong was related to that hostage. I thought he was just a pawn in the Southern Kingdom scheme, but I didn't expect him to be the key to the kingdom's downfall. After a moment of silence, the emperor spoke, I understand. Making him kneel, indeed, won't solve the problem. Zhu responded happily, yes, it's good that father understands. However, the emperor continued, he should be executed directly. Zhu urgently tried to dissuade him. We can't kill him. If news of this gets out, the Southern Kingdom will surely accuse us of cruelty, and that will put her in even more danger. She knew full well that if Di Jiang was the male protagonist of the original story, the chosen one, killing him would be impossible. It would only deepen his hatred. The emperor hesitated. The truth is, he reminisced, countless people have coveted my life. That I've lived to see this day and sit upon this throne is pure luck. After ascending, I naturally dealt with those people. Zhu continued to plead with the emperor. Father, sparing his life today might be our way out in the future. Harboring hatred within the palace is never a good thing. I truly don't want anyone to be in danger. The emperor finally made his difficult decision. Very well. The hostage need not kneel any longer. Treat him normally from now on. Zhu replied happily, wonderful. Thank you, father. At the hostage's quarters, Di Jiang was still dutifully carrying out his punishment. He clenched his fists, his thoughts churning. How long have I been kneeling? How long has that little princess been gone? The young man pressed his lips together, gritting his teeth against the pain. No, I can't think about her. She surely won't return. Suddenly, the voice of the guard at the door rang out, presenting the princess. The announcement struck Jiang like a bolt of lightning. Astonished, he thought, what? She actually came back. Juju ran happily to Jiang and declared, "Little brother, Juju has come to fulfill her promise. Father has agreed to lift your kneeling punishment. Why haven't you gotten up yet? Are your legs hurting too much?" The pain was secondary. Jiang's primary emotion upon seeing Juju's return was surprise. Touched, he thought, someone actually cares about me. Can I really trust this little girl? Ignoring his stunned expression, Juju quickly commanded the physician behind her. "Physician, quickly examine little brother's legs and see if there are any lasting effects." The physician approached Jiang respectfully. "Allow me to examine you. Please remain seated." But Jiang, unaccustomed to such treatment, nervously pushed the physician's hand away. "I can stand." Seeing this, Juju gently took his hand and reassured him. "Little brother, don't be nervous. Let the physician examine you. Are his legs all right?" The physician examined the slightly grazed knees and cautiously replied, "Although they look alarming, they are only superficial wounds. A few days of medication and they will heal." Juju beamed. "Wonderful. As long as there are no lasting effects, he shouldn't be chopping off anyone's legs out of resentment." In high spirits, Juju naturally took Jiang's hand and pulled him up. "Let's go inside. I brought other things as well." Jiang didn't resist, only following her inside in a daze. Inside, he saw a table laden with food. Juju enthusiastically explained, "Juju had the imperial kitchen prepare all of this. Eat plenty to regain your strength." Jiang looked at Juju with a softening gaze. "This little girl is truly thoughtful. She genuinely cares about me." The little princess's kindness wasn't feigned, but the Shichu emperor had allowed her to show this concern. Though touched, Jiang, recalling the emperor's cold face, remained suspicious. Why the sudden change in attitude? Just because of the little princess's request. The Shichu emperor is certainly not a good man. He must have an ulterior motive, like using the little princess to kill me. His hand twitched. "I should still use the silver needle in my ring to check this food for poison. But how can I do that without her noticing? And I can't hurt her." Juju, with the memories of her past life, easily noticed the suspicion in his eyes. He still seems uneasy. "I need to think of something." Suddenly, an idea struck her. I understand," Juju said. "I almost forgot. I also received an imperial edict from father, which I'm to read to you." Her attendant, not daring to delay, solemnly and loudly proclaimed, "From this day forward, the hostage from the southern kingdom need not kneel in repentance. His food, clothing, lodging, and medical care shall be provided according to the standards of the inner palace. There shall be no negligence." Astonishment rippled through Jiang. What? He thought. Not just today, but from now on, I'm to be treated like a normal person. And all thanks to that little girl. He cast a grateful glance towards Juju, but she seemed not to notice, her eyes crinkling into crescents as she spoke. "The edict has been read," she declared. "Now let's eat together." Before Jiang could react, she grabbed a chicken leg and took a large bite, savoring the flavor. "As expected of the imperial kitchen," she murmured. "It's so delicious. I have to try everything." Juju was happily eating when a soft chuckle interrupted her. Juju realized she was being a bit unladylike. "Oops," she thought, her cheeks flushing. "I was trying to put him at ease, but the food from the imperial kitchen is just too good." Since the damage was done, she abandoned her embarrassment. "Hey, you eat too," she said. "I've already tested it for poison. The food from the imperial kitchen is really delicious." Jiang, slightly reassured, replied, "All right, let's eat." But inwardly, he felt a pang of shame. "I judged her with my own suspicion." He reasoned, if she were helping someone harm me, she wouldn't have come. Since she's here, it must be out of genuine concern. Juju was currently wrestling with a large prawn, attempting to demonstrate her peeling skills, but clearly struggling. Jiang kindly peeled one and placed it in her bowl. "Eat this," he offered. Juju, of course, wouldn't refuse such a delicacy. Her eyes curved into happy crescents as she politely replied, "Thank you, young master." Then she peeled a prawn and offered it to Jiang. "You eat too, young master." By the time Juju left, dusk had fallen. Jiang stood by the window, gazing at the starry sky. His personal attendant suddenly spoke, "Master." Sensing his attendant's hesitation, Jiang prompted, "Speak your mind." Given permission, the attendant blurted out, "Master, the Emperor of Shichu hates the southern kingdom so much. How could he be swayed by a few words from a little princess and treat you so well?" I fear there's a Shi-Chu plot behind the princess's kindness. Di Jiang interrupted him. Enough, he stated. I can see clearly. The adults of Shi-Chu may have ulterior motives, but that little princess does not. You can hate and suspect whomever you wish, he continued, but you are not to target that little princess. His hand rested on the windowsill as he continued to gaze at the stars, his thoughts drifting. She is the first person in this world to help me. I wonder when I'll see her again, he mused. Juju blinked her eyes open, groggily aware of her 3 older brothers standing by her bed, staring intently at her. Rubbing her eyes, she wondered what's going on so early in the morning. The prolonged, silent staring contest began to feel a little creepy. Suddenly, she sat bolt upright and yelled, "Ah!" startling her brothers, who stumbled backward. Juju patted her chest, trying to calm her racing heart. Even though my brothers are sweet, this is really frightening first thing in the morning. The Crown Prince was the first to break the silence. "Sorry, Juju," he said. "We heard you weren't up yet, so we came to wait for you. We didn't mean to scare you. We'll copy scriptures later as punishment." Juju immediately brightened. It's okay, she replied. "You didn't do it on purpose. I'm fine. You don't need to copy scriptures. So, what did you want to see me about?" At this, the Crown Prince blurted out, "Juju, do you want to leave the palace?" Her eyes lit up. "Leave the palace?" she exclaimed. "Of course I do. Where are we going?" "I've never been outside the inner palace. I don't know what it's like out there." The Crown Prince smiled. "I was thinking of taking you to see Miss Een." "Wonderful. I'd like to see Miss Een too." Juju, having uttered these words, suddenly paused. "But why does the Crown Prince suddenly want to take me to see Miss Een?" The Crown Prince, seeing her confusion, stammered, unable to form a coherent sentence. The other 2 princes deliberately whispered loudly enough for Juju to hear. It said that General Yu, Miss Yin's father, doesn't want his daughter confined to the palace for life. Apparently, he even told the emperor he'd refuse any imperial decree of marriage. The Crown Prince is worried about General Yu losing face, so he wants to bring little Juju along. Juju's voice rang out, sharp and clear. "Crown Prince, brother." Her gaze, fixed intently upon him, forced him to avert his eyes in shame. "Are you trying to use me?" After a moment, the Crown Prince cleared his throat, attempting to justify himself. "That's only part of the reason. Don't you like Miss Een? Seeing her more often will strengthen your bond. Perhaps this time, you'll even get to touch her face." Juju asked suspiciously, "Really? And what if I don't? Then I'll be your horse." Juju replied delightedly, "You promised." "I've never ridden a big horse before." Secretly, she thought triumphantly, "Heads, I win a horse ride. Tails, I get to touch Miss Yin's face." "I can't lose," the Crown Prince declared confidently. "Don't worry, I'll definitely make sure you get to touch Miss Yin's face." Reality, however, delivered a swift blow to the Crown Prince's confidence. Juju complained, "Crown Prince, brother, you promised I could touch her face. But we can't even get into the Yu residence." The Crown Prince thought sullenly, "That general really won't give me an inch." He turned to see Juju deep in thought. "Perhaps we need to find a way to make him happy. But the Yu family is rich and powerful. They lack nothing. The only thing General Yu desires, but can't obtain, are the taro roots he used to eat during the war. They're a rarity in the capital now. If we could find some taro, perhaps he'd let us in." I thought the story of when General who was gravely ill and craved taro. Miss who searched the entire capital, finally finding some in the distant West Market. She had to find a way to tell her brother, the Crown Prince. The Crown Prince, at her side, read her thoughts, realizing that bringing her along had indeed been a wise decision. Having finished her contemplation, Juju tugged on the Crown Prince's sleeve. "Crown Prince, brother, I hear the West Market has many foreign merchants. Do you think they might have something General Yu has never seen before? If so, we could buy it for him as a gift. If he's pleased, we might be able to get in." The Crown Prince feigned ignorance, playing along. "Juju, you're so clever. I've heard General Yu likes taro. It's hard to find in the capital these days. Let's go there and look." Juju beamed. "All right, Crown Prince, brother. You're so smart. Who knew General Yu hadn't been able to buy taro for so many years?" The road to the West Market was arduous. By now, the little princess was sweating profusely, her face flushed. But looking at the bag of taro they had purchased, hope flickered within her. "Finally, we got some." The Crown Prince even gave the seller a bonus. "I hope everything goes smoothly." Since this was their second time knocking, the Yu resident's servant appeared impatient. Opening the door, he said curtly, As we said, the general is unwell today and not receiving guests. Please return. The crown prince's attendant replied calmly, we know the general is unwell, so we brought him his favorite taro roots, hoping to present them to him. Seeing the bag of taro, the guard's expression softened slightly. He lowered his voice. In that case, please wait in the parlor. I'll inform the master. The two settled in the tea room. Juju noticed the crown prince's nervous expression and thought, Crown Prince, brother, looks very tense. But proposing marriage is a big deal. It's normal to be nervous. The crown prince, hearing her thoughts, felt his eyes prickle with unexpected emotion. I don't want to be so nervous either. It's a good thing Juju is here. Suddenly, a servant announced, General Yu has arrived. He entered. Juju thought, so this is General Yu. He's certainly imposing. He seemed surprised by the announcement of their arrival. Juju nearly jumped out of her skin, but in the next instant, General Yu's expression softened dramatically. I wasn't aware the princess was here too. Why didn't someone tell this old man sooner? He turned and picked up a piece of candy, admiring it. You even brought my favorite sweets. How thoughtful. I've been craving these for ages. Watching his fluctuating moods, the little girl couldn't help but think, what an unpredictable character this general is. Taking advantage of his good humor, Juju put on her most charming expression. So, will you grant our request and listen to what my brother, the crown prince, has to say? Oh, so you came prepared, he chuckled. Suddenly, General Yu's face turned serious. His voice rose. But if you come with a marriage proposal, you can forget it.